Welcome to Crankworx World Tour.
Had he just sat back and glided through his final run, England's Darrell Brown might have won the Crankworx Leger dual speed and style. But he didn't. And victory fell from his grasp on the final berm, just one jump from the finish. In Rotorua, slopestyler Jakob Wenzel proved he could bring the speed and combined it with technical tricks to take the win. In Leger, Wenzel brought strategy and strength to take his second straight win. The rider from the Czech Republic is officially the man to beat here in Austria. But racers like the USA's Mitch Ropalato and France's Adrien Laurent will be looking to start their own winning streak. To get to the finals here today will take a balance of speed, style, and stamina. The Mons Royale dual speed and style live from Crankworx Innsbruck begins now.
This is what it's all about. The place to be, Crankworx World Tour. Here we go.
Several dimensions are shaping victories.
1080, stomping it.
Perfect execution.
The best mountain bike riders on earth.
Check the time here. Can he keep it up?
He enters the final straightaway first. He does. Just barely too short.
One queen and one king will claim the title of best all-around mountain biker on the planet.
Welcome to Innsbruck, Austria, in sight of your third stop on your Crankworx World Tour. And we're talking picturesque Innsbruck, rich history with the Olympics, but it's all about mountain biking. My name is Brad J, joined by the legend of freeriding, Cam McCall. Cam, different course, different style. What are we going to see here today, man?
This one's all about the flow. We've got berms, we've got rollers, we've got really good trick jumps, tight gates, and an over-under section right behind us. So it's gonna be like synchronized swimming on mountain bikes out there.
I like the sound of that. The over-under, it's backed by popular demand, and we are gonna see it. But I'll tell you what, before we get onto the competition, who are some of the riders we need to look for here today?
With the last event only a week ago, we can take a peek back and see who was looking on point. Darrell Brown won in Leger just a year ago, and he was back at it again last week with tricks like that 360 tuck no-hander, a ton of speed against top riders like Martin Soderstrom here in the white, and then ending every run with full extension on backflip tuck no-handers. Good enough for second place on the event for Darrell Brown. But Martin Soderstrom going into the round for the battle for the bronze with tons of speed and tricks that he's famous for. Double tail whips, straight to the pedals, with that classic Martin Soderstrom style, precision through the gates, ending with big, flat 360 inverted table. Third place for Martin Soderstrom.
So good to see the big Swede back in the mix. And it results the podium right there. Mitch Ropalato, third place. Adrien Laurent, second. And Jakob Wenzel, first place in Rotorua. Talking about Leger, since that was the second stop, this is the results on that one. Martin Soderstrom in that third spot. Darrell Brown locking in second place. And Jakob Wenzel taking away with that first place. And you talk about the big Swede, man. I'm just so happy to see him back in competition. He's had a rough go out. He's been injured, Cam, but seeing Martin back in at form feels pretty darn good. And I'll tell you what, if you're liking Martin, maybe you're liking your chances in Crankworx Fantasy. That's your opportunity. You can pick the riders with Crankworx Fantasy. You can pick your whole team competing in speed and style, pump track, downhill, slope style, whatever it may be. You can just do it just like that.
And a lot of prizes to win, right? Prizes for each individual event. So a lot of incentive to get out there and pick your team.
And $1,000 were up for grabs today in Mons Royale clothing. So if you're playing today and you've already picked your team, good on you. If you didn't, well, you got tomorrow. Make sure you start picking your team tonight and do it for Pump Track tomorrow, because you gotta get in there, man. You can win. You can win big, man.
Can't win if you don't play.
Yeah, you can't win if you don't play, right? Where's that from? I don't know. I've heard that before. Well, where are we at? I'll tell you what, we are in a very awesome place. I have never been here before. I'm not sure if you've been out here before, but being here in Innsbruck, Austria, just look how beautiful this place is. Well, just the Alps and the backdrop. But let's just zone in, Cam, on where we are. Do you see us?
Zooming out from what it looks like from the moon all the way down to what it looks like just hovering above this beautiful mountain town. It's a mountain city, Innsbruck. So unique having a gigantic city in this alpine environment.
And they're on the come up too, 2 riding zones right now, but they're actually doing a lot more. So in the future here in Innsbruck, it's going to be all about mountain biking in a big way. Like to see that. Even cruising through town yesterday, we're seeing guys with their bikes sitting there having frosty cold ones. That was awesome just to see that whole kind of vibe with the city vibe and the mountains behind you. Well, tell you what, we need to talk about the comp format. Cam, can you do the math on our comp format here today?
Here's how the competition format works for dual speed and style. We've boiled it down to 16 racers. There's 3 judges and 2 courses. It's a head-to-head format with each rider taking a run on each course for a total of 2 runs per round.
Okay, but how about the clock? The clock comes in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is a race. That's the speed aspect of it. So you're racing the clock, but you're also getting a score from those judges. The higher your score, the more time that's going to come off of your run for your run score total. And you're looking for the lowest run score total, so golf scoring on this one, and that's what's going to allow you to advance into the next bracketed round.
And that is the format. Yeah, you know, Cam, catching up with some of the amazing riders over there, I think we got Daryl Brown. Let's see check in with Daryl Brown.
Daryl, a big front tire washout in the finals in Leger cost you the win. How do you get that out of your head just a week later, and where's your headspace at for this race today?
I think, like last week, fatigue played a big part in the crash. You know, we've been walking up a mountain like 100 times within a couple of hours, you know, so, and when you're pushing that hard, I mean, mistakes come real easy, and yeah, washed the front out and ate some dirt. So yeah, I mean, focusing now on this event, the course is a hell of a lot different to Leger. I mean, there's no braking in this course whatsoever, so we've just got to try and keep our speed up, not make any mistakes on the gates, and have fun like I try and usually do. I mean, try not to be too serious and have fun, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you know how to do that, and make sure to remember to drink some water. It's pretty hot out here today. So good luck to you, Daryl. Thanks for the insight.
Thanks very much, Cam.
I like. That's nice. You're keeping him hydrated. That's the father in you, right there, Cam?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you said, they do so many runs throughout the course of the day to make it to the finals. So yeah, you got to drink that water.
You're right, and it's been a hot one out here. And Daryl Brown, you look at what he's done. Took that win in Leger last year. But Daryl Brown looking to see if he can get on that second spot, maybe climb on top. And here's how it went down. We started out with the 32, and we've narrowed it down to the round of 16, and there are some heck of a matchup. Look at that, USA versus USA, Great Britain versus Great Britain with Daryl Brown, Sam Reynolds, Yannick Reneri versus Louis Rabot, France versus France. This one is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, look at our first matchup right here. Jakob Wenzel, guy who won in Rotorua, got second place just last week in Leger, and then Austin Warren, a racer. This kid is definitely one to look out for in the downhill, but also doing tricks here in speed and style.
It looks like he might be trying to take him out of his game right now. He's Austin Warren jawing him up right there.
Those racers, they like to play the mind games.
So Jakob, remember, now he is absolutely perfect. He won in Leger last week. He also won in Rotorua in March. So 2 wins. If he can get up on the podium, this would be big. Here we go.
And traditionally this season, we've been seeing that 360 tuck no-hander. Is that what he's going to do here? Yep, 360 tuck no-hander for Jakob Wenzel and a backflip for Austin Warren, which is really cool to see. This guy, I had no idea he even had a backflip in his bag of tricks.
Well, it seems like the days are gone when you can just race it all the way to top to bottom. Here we go.
Oh, Paul Austin. Wow. Austin Warren flipping all the way to flat on that finish line jump, basically landing past the timing lights. Hopefully he triggered it.
Look at that. He is up right now.
Wow. Good to see. This kid can take a hit and get right back up. He had a huge crash in the whip-off last week, and out here already racing again.
So now it's going to come down to comparing the jumps, because we all know that Austin Warren was faster out of those 2 guys, but he also had backflips you said you didn't even know he had.
Okay, here's what I want to know. If you crash past the timing lights, do you get scored down for that? We're about to find out. I don't think we've ever seen that before.
So 70 versus 40.
Right here's when he realized, oh, I should have pulled a little harder on the flip. Well, he got 35 for that backflip to crash, so that's good to see. And only a 40 for Jakob Wenzel's backflip triple X up.
Oh, look at this. The guy who's won the last 2 is going to have to play catch-up. Austin Warren taking the lead by 0.55 over the man who's been perfect all season long.
We call him the man to beat because he's won back-to-back events, but in this gated format of racing, you could get out in any round. So each round, you know, it deserves all the focus in the world. So Jakob's got some work to do.
Unbelievable turnabout here at the beginning of this thing. Now we go Oscar Nagy from Hungary and Adrien Lerone from France. So you see Lerone, he's on the right in that red kit right there. And you got Oscar Nagy with the Monster logo, and he is on the left. Here we go. Racers ready here in the gate. Mons Royale dual speed and style. Here we go.
So this is the first time we've seen Oscar Nagy compete in one of these speed and style events at a Crankworx stop. He's got that 360 suicide double bar spin, letting those bars fly without catching them in between bar spins. But Adrien Lerone, the master of speed, definitely putting some seconds onto Oscar Nagy.
And I think this might be a tough one. Look at Lerone.
Lerone's threes are getting really nice.
And with the combined now with the speed, I gotta think it's only just a matter of time to see Adrien Lerone should be taking the advantage here with that speed. And
Oscar had some really big tricks though, Brad. We're gonna probably look at some replays here.
What do you think, maybe 80, 90 on that first jump for Nagy?
Well, it's the first time we've seen that trick in speed and style, so the judges are probably gonna take a little time deciding what number to assign to it, but a 360 suicide double bar spin at speed as well.
This will be very interesting. We'll have to take a look at this. But Adrien Lerone, he's been working on his tricks in the off-season. He's been bringing them out. He was second in Rotorua.
So left side of your screen, that 360 double bar spin got Oscar Nagy a score of 90. Then a flip bar to X up, got him a 80. But Adrien Lerone winning the race and getting a 40 and a 45 with that backflip and then that 360.
So it comes down to this. And look at this, Adrien Lerone will take the lead by .22 over Nagy. And so what else could Nagy do? I mean, he's already got the 80 and the 90 in there. He's just going to have to stay closer to him and reel him back as far as the speed goes.
Which is easier said than done. We're talking about Adrien Lerone here.
And now, oh, look at this one. You got Martin Soderstrom right here. He's on the left. There's the big Swede right there in the Red Bull helmet. And Barry Nobles. And look at it, he's dirty. He's been going for it. Barry Nobles, 100% focus, and you've been telling me he's got a lot of tricks in the back cam.
He does. I mean, we can't even talk about him as a racer anymore because he's got the full package. He's been working harder than any of the other racers out there to put together a bag of tricks for these events.
So here we go. Martin Soderstrom here on the left, Barry Nobles on the right. We are racing.
Pretty good gate start for Martin, being that close to Barry Nobles, a guy who definitely is no stranger in gated racing. A backflip Superman for Barry Nobles, a double tail for Martin Soderstrom, and head-to-head racing.
Let's see how they approach the hip right here. They're keeping it close together. Martin with a lead on the speed.
A backflip tail for Barry Nobles. He gets the pedals.
Barry Nobles, what?
Who would have thought a year ago that we'd see Barry Nobles doing a harder trick on the last jump than a guy like Martin Soderstrom?
Get out of here, Barry Nobles. And Martin's like twice the size of that man, but Dynamite comes in small packages, and Barry Nobles is TNT for sure.
What is going on with speed and style here? We have slope style guys who are specializing in speed, then racers who have humongous tricks. This is definitely becoming its own defined format of competition, and riders are taking it way more seriously now than we've ever seen before.
Well, and also Barry Nobles has a screw that's becoming loose in his wrist that he wants to take a look at when he gets done, and he noticed it in Leger. He says it's becoming kind of unwound, so he has to get back to his doctor to get that thing put back in.
So he's got two screws loose.
So he's got two. I did set you up on that, didn't I, Cam? Well, let's take a look at it right now. Here we go. First jump. 85 to 75, Cam. No surprises?
And then the backflip tail up is going to score high. It's a 90 for Barry Nobles in that backflip tail up. Martin Soderstrom getting a 70 for the 360 table. He might have to dig a little deeper in run number 2.
Well, you know he's got him. There you go. The leader is going to be Martin. Martin Soderstrom right there, going to have the lead by .75 over Nobles. But man, anything can happen on that matchup. I'll tell you what. And now it's USA versus USA here. We got Greg Watts on the right. There's Reed Boggs out of Hurricane. He's on the left. Who you pulling for here, Cam?
Well, man, I'm rooting for both these guys, but Greg, I grew up riding with him, so if you make me choose, man, it's tough because I want the best for Reed, but I got to root for my hometown guy, right?
Yeah, I would think you'd go that way too. You could see Boggs Does he get the snap out? Pretty even out of the gate.
So Reed's really been stepping up the trick game in the preliminary rounds. He's doing that front flip, a huge backflip combo out of Greg. It looked like backflip bar spin to X up, but Reed looks to be leading the charge right now. That rider's right course appears to be a little bit faster than the left. But Greg is right there. Reed, backflip bar spin. Greg, oh, missing the flip combo. That's going to hurt him.
Yeah, you talk about the flip combo. That's one of those things that you could see in 80 or 90 if you get the flip combo there on that last hit. So.
I think that was a game changer right there. With Greg missing that flip combo, Reed's probably going to have a pretty good looking advantage going into round number 2 on this round.
Not sure how the judges are scoring the straight backflip, but somewhere around 35-40 or something like that. I was talking to some of the judges about that. We'll see when they put it together, but Reed looking good, looking fast out there.
Reed also competing in the slope style on Sunday.
Yeah, 90 versus 80 on that one, very close. And this is what you're talking about, Cam.
Yeah, missing that backflip combo only gets Greg Watts a 40 against the 75 that Reed earned from that backflip bar spin.
So straight backflip basically is pulling a 40 out. So Reed Boggs will take the lead by 1.08 over Watts.
A lot to make up in run number 2 for Greg Watts.
Especially when Reed is starting with the front flip just like that. That's the thing, man. Okay, so you see the names in yellow. We talk about the names in yellow. Why? Because they're the ones who have the advantage when they go at it again. So Austin with the advantage. Adrian Larone will have the advantage over Oscar Nagy. And then you got Martin Soderstrom. He has the advantage over Barry Nobles. And Reed Boggs, who you just saw, has the advantage over Greg Watts. Well, we got 8 more guys to go in our round of 16 here in Innsbruck, Austria. Stop number 3 on the Crankworx World Tour. Your Mons Royale dual speed and style. We'll be back with more right after this.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Drop it.
Crankworx Innsbruck, brought to you by Innsbruck T-Roll. And we are here, Crankworx Innsbruck, stop number 3 of your Crankworx World Tour Camera Call. Joining alongside here, Brad J, and our first big broadcast of the event, and it is our Mons Royale Dual Speed and Style. And speaking of Mons Royale Dual Speed and Style, time to check in with the third member of our team, Tina Dixon, standing by with the course report. Tina?
Yeah, thanks, guys. I am down at the bottom of the course, and you know, when you look up it, the Dual Speed and Style is actually positioned right next to the slopestyle course. So you see all these jumps, you see all these berms, and it almost looks like a roller coaster. It's really flowy. The guys are telling me that there is no braking, but what really sets this course apart than the others are the jumps. They are made for tricks, specifically this bottom one. The landing is actually shared with the slopestyle course. So, you know, we always talk about the advantage. Is it racers? Is it slopestyle guys? Well, on this one, the racers are really going to have to go out of their comfort zone and do some tricks. We've already been seeing that. Could make for a very exciting race today. And then just something to mention, the weather. We have had a little bit of light rain on and off, but that could actually be good for the course. It is pretty dusty down here, guys.
Thank you so much, Tina Dixon. I got to ask you, Cam, is gone are the days of the racer winning a dual speed and style? Is that over with? Because you have to have tricks nowadays.
It's pretty wild looking at our qualification list. In the top 10, there's 8 slopestyle specific riders. And so what you do see is a lot of cross-training, a lot of guys getting pushed out of slopestyle because it's so hard to get invited into those events. So a lot of guys who would be on the podium a few years ago in slopestyle are putting their hat into the ring for speed and style.
All right, well, and we'll stack them and rack them again, because next up we got Tommy G, Thomas Genome from Belgium. You can see him, he's the Belgian rider on the left, and you got Bas van Steenbergen, the Canadian, on the right.
Well, this run will be a great example of what we were just talking about. Bas van Steenbergen, a rider who's been working on tricks in practice. There's a no-foot can for him. Very surprising. Nothing compared to the trick that Tommy G was doing right alongside of him. But we haven't seen him doing any tricks earlier on in this season. So it's just going to show the racers having to step it up.
And looking at keeping it pretty close right now, Tommy G.
A backflip tuck no-hander for Tommy G and a knack-knack for Bas.
So 23.55, 23.42. So you see Bas just a little bit faster than him, but you got to think Tommy G with the tricks should be the one who's going to take the advantage on this one.
And Tommy G definitely very accomplished in the realm of speed and style. He won in Whistler last year, which is arguably the biggest event with the most prestige for speed and style in the entire world. So he's had a big win. 360 tuck no-hander. He uses that trick a lot in speed and style. But look how close he is to Bas right here. Bas doing that no-foot can on the top jump, definitely giving him more points than he's used to with the 25.
Yeah, because I think I was seeing him get zeros in Leger, but not today. 25 and 20, 70 and 70 for Tommy G on his jumps. He's going to take the lead, 0.88 over Bas. Now, and Tommy used to his credit, he used to race back in the day.
Yeah, a lot of these slopestyle specific athletes started out racing downhill dual slalom. Some, like Brett Reeder, actually raced cross country, which is, there's not too many similarities between that and this. But those well-rounded riders are the ones you see sticking around on this speed and style circuit.
Great Britain versus Great Britain. Daryl Brown in that white t-shirt right there. He's going against Sam Reynolds.
This will definitely be a tight matchup.
Don't know what to expect. Here we go. Looks like Sam might have had a little bit of a jump there.
Sam had a huge gate start there. That was really impressive. Whoa, so many tricks going on. It looked like a 360 one-footed extra from Sam Reynolds. And I'm guessing we had that 360 tuck no-hander from Daryl Brown. But they were side by side. The speed's very, very similar on this matchup. What are the tricks going to be?
It's close.
Oh, a backflip tuck no-hander for Daryl, and it looked like a straight flip for Sam.
Well, we saw the straight flip.
Oh, a perfect tie.
24-14, 24-14.
We've never seen that.
I don't think we have. So this was when it definitely now comes down to who had the bigger tricks.
Well, I can't wait to see that replay, because it's really going to come down to that first jump. Daryl's obviously going to have an advantage on that last jump, getting his hands off. You know, Sam was trying for a variation, didn't get it. But that first jump, they were so close, it was hard to tell who was doing what.
And also, we saw the backflip, just a straight backflip, was scored a 40. So I think
Daryl had more of a combo on that first jump. Let's see, we're going to get a look.
Here we go.
So Daryl Brown with the 360 tuck no-hander to bar spin. That's the trick that Jakob pulled out of nowhere against him in Leger.
90 and a 70 for Daryl, a 70 and a 40 for Sam Reynolds. So obviously Daryl Brown is going to have the advantage. But this one is far from over between these two guys.
Well, if Sam gets a combo next run, we could really be looking at another close race.
Well, he's going to definitely need the combo. They're pretty even on the speed, as you saw right there. Now we got the Battle of France right now. Yannick Greneri, there's a look at him right there in that black fox tee. Then you got Louis Rabot, straight off the hockey rink. What? That helmet.
Going kayaking later, maybe. There's a lot of rivers here in Innsbruck.
Louis Rabot on the right in the white t-shirt. Yannick Greneri in that black fox shirt on the left. Here we go. First time they matched up. France versus France here, Cam.
Yeah, only one can survive. All right, Yannick Grenieri just recently retired from the slopestyle scene, so his tricks are very fresh. Backflip tail whip for Yannick and a flip tuck no-hander for Louis Rabot. Tight racing, no missed gates in that one. For two jump-specific riders, they are carrying a lot of speed.
Look at Yannick, though, with the speed here.
Whoa, there we go, answering back. Louis Rabot with the flip whip of his own on the last jump against the flat spin X-up from Yannick Grenieri.
And pretty close on time. Yannick does have the advantage on the speed on that side of things. Well, what do you think on the jumps, Cam?
Well, both of them had a backflip tail whip. They did it on opposite jumps, and both had a good variation for their smaller trick. And it was very, very tight on speed, so I think the judges are gonna have some math.
So as you refer to it as crunching the numbers, that's what the judges are gonna have to do now. Let's take a look at the jumps here.
So good extension on that backflip tuck no-hander from Louis Rabot next to Yannick Grenieri. But you know, you gotta wonder, seeing Louis do that backflip tail up on the last jump, did he catch Yannick out of the corner of his eye doing it on the first jump? Realized he had to step it up.
90-70, then a 70-90. So Yannick is gonna take the lead by 0.85.
Came down to speed in this case.
It sure did. So Yannick the advantage on that one. And our final matchup in our Sweet 16, it's Chuby. There's Chuby right there. You can see him on the left with that yellow and gray race face kit right there. And then you got Thomas Lemoyne from France on the right.
Thomas Lemoyne with a good jump out of the gate. He's a current slopestyle competitor. Mitch Chuby used to be a fixture on the scene. Good variations out of both riders. Lemoyne qualifying a little higher than Chuby. And looking to have good speed here. But Chuby catching up.
Yeah.
Oh, a backflip bar spin for Lemoyne, a backflip tail whip for Mitch Chuby.
Very interesting play right there. 23.67 for Lemoyne and a 24.14. Thomas has the edge on that time, getting across first. But like you said, Chuby was behind, but he reeled him back in.
He really did, and definitely went for broke on that last trick jump. That's probably going to serve him well once the judges make their decisions.
See Thomas Lemoyne. Let's take a look at the jump sections right here. Here's the first jump.
360 double bar spin out of Thomas Lemoyne, and a backflip bar spin to X up from Lemoyne against the backflip tail whip from Chuby. Judges have been rewarding that backflip tail whip, but they've always been rewarding it with perfect pedal catches. A little bit of a slip for Mitch Chuby.
So 0.74, that's what Chuby is going to have to make up. Thomas Lemoyne is going to have the advantage as they go back at it again in their second matchup. So run number one in our round of 16. They're done. We got run number 2 coming up for you.
No combos. Jakob had combos, so that's going to do well, but a big lead for Bubba Warren.
So, Cam, talk to me about the difference for the speed and the style in this. How important is the speed over the style and the tricks?
Well, it's really important for Jakob to be close to Austin. It was probably obvious that Austin's going to cross that finish line first because he's, you know, flipping and not doing the variations, but the fact that he is flipping means that Jakob has to be that much closer even with the variations he's doing.
So, and it was only 0.01 was the difference between them. We saw Austin Warren. Here we go. Now, let's take a look. Will the streak go on 40-70 over Jakob?
So Jakob Wenzel, let's take a look at this gap. It wasn't much, but in this racing format,
oh, this is going to come down to it right now. 70-80 for Jakob, couple of 40s in there for Austin Warren. 0.44.
Oh.
Jakob Wenzel has been eliminated. The man who's been perfect in Leger in Rotorua has been dispatched by USA's Austin Warren. Wow. Did not see that coming. Let's time to check in with Tina Dixon standing by with Austin Warren. Tina.
Yeah, and Austin, wow, what a feat. I mean, you just knocked off the guy that won the last two events. What made the difference?
You know, I mean, he made a mistake in the first run in the tight corners, and that's pretty much deciding the race right now. I mean, and the tricks. I don't have many tricks. I mean, I learned backflips 2 weeks ago, so I'm not much of a trickster, but I got lucky. I mean, he made a mistake, and I stayed consistent, and I'm going through. It was awesome.
You know, we keep talking about how tricks are going to be so important on this course, but you're saying also speed, and I know those gates up at the top are really tight.
Yeah, a lot of these slopestyle guys don't really know BMX gates. So, I mean, as a racer, you go to the BMX track, so you know timing, you know what to do, so it's good.
Yeah, well, you are moving on. Best of luck, guys.
Oh, man. Well, nicely done, Austin Warren. But you know what I like? He learned backflips 2 weeks ago, Cam.
You know what that round told me, Brad? That told me that we finally found the perfect format for speed and style. It's been a long time coming, but it really answers the question you were asking earlier. You said, well, is it the end of racers having an opportunity to win this competition? If you're a racer who's willing to do a backflip and go that much faster, snap those gates, you can still have just as good of a chance as any of the slopestyle guys.
And what's crazy is Austin Warren, yeah, he's advancing on, but he's going to go the winner of this one. Now, Adrian Larone, a racer who's learned tricks as well. And you see Adrian Larone in that red kit. He is on the left-hand side. Now, 0.22, that's his advantage over Oscar Nagy, so that can be beat. Any mistakes, you got to pounce on him, man.
I really want to focus on the slalom gates during this run, the little flags that are in the ground after the first trick jump. We got a backflip from Adrian Larone and a truck driver from Oscar Nagy, but this is where Larone's going to make up the time. Oscar Nagy only has one break and not a lot of slalom racing experience. So you see Larone really pulling ahead in the middle section of this course.
Yeah, you see Nagy trying to reel him back in, but that's going to be tough to do.
Backflip bar spin for Nagy going deep, and a nice flat spin 360 for Adrian Larone.
But, you know, you're looking at just shy of 2 full second difference between those guys, with Adrian Larone being the faster of the two.
Well, the racers are still alive and well with this format. And if you got the tricks, man, you got to spend some time at that BMX track if you want to be getting points out here in the Crankworx Speed and Style World Tour.
Well, that's a great point that Austin Warren brought up on that one, too. Like, gate starts, very important. Comes down to that, too, as well.
And also flat corners. So you see both riders land their tricks. Adrian Larone sets up nicely outside on the first gate to set him up nicely for the second gate. And it's just the fact that he's thinking about that. That's the racer's edge, the experience coming into play. He may not have a backflip bar spin like Oscar showed there.
40, 45, 70, 70. So Oscar gets him on those tricks, but not enough to be able to take over that 2 second gap. So Adrian Larone will move on to face Austin Warren.
That'll be a good one.
And that's very similar. Those guys probably have similar tricks that they'll be able to throw down. Oh boy, this is Innsbruck right here. This is absolutely amazing. We got in here super late on Sunday night, but being able to cruise through the town and seeing what this place is and the rich history about, it's just amazing being here, Cam.
It's wild being in the city during nighttime because you forget how huge the mountains are until you see a little light flying in the sky and you remember, oh yeah, that's the top of that mountain. But trails for days, and they're building more and more every minute, Brad.
Well, urban base, that's a good thing right there, because if you think about it, you'll go down there downtown, you'll see guys just chilling on their bikes, having frosty cold ones with all their gear on, but they're from the mountains into the city just like that.
Yeah, pretty exciting to have a Crankworx festival coming here to Innsbruck.
Yeah, and just seeing how the city has welcomed Crankworx out here. I'll tell you what, they are on the come up. Get your butts out here and spend some time out here in Innsbruck if you get a chance. Is that your private jet, Cam?
That's, yeah, I think that's yours. Look at that. It says Brad J. Air
Yeah, right.
on the side. Nice vinyl wrap.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good look at it. That's where we are. And you can see the city off in the distance right there. And you can see the rich history behind the city. Mons Royale, dual speed and style. That's what's going on. Cam McCall, Brad J., Tina Dixon with all the calls for you.
That's commitment right there.
That's commitment.
That photographer got his chin in the dirt. Wide angle lens.
Oh, here we go. Looking forward to this one. Martin Soderstrom. There's Martin in the white T-shirt. Barry Nobles right there.
Look at the dirt on the right shoulder of Barry Nobles. That just goes to show how hard he was riding in practice, trying to get really technical combos. It's been paying off. He had that backflip tail up in run 1.
Well, Martin Soderstrom has the advantage, so we'll get to that in a second. But let's go back and do a Crankworx clock rewind and take a look at last week, hanging out in beautiful Leger. Dual speed and style out there in Leger.
Brad, it was nice that not only all the riders showed up to Leger, but the sunshine decided to make an appearance as well. And with the sunshine came the fans.
You know what, and you can't disappoint when you look at the finals, that the final two guys that we got to see go head-to-head against each other. You couldn't ask for a better one. That man right there, Daryl Brown, he was the guy who won it in Leger the year before. And there's Slavic and him talking it up.
Yeah, Daryl Brown was coming in with a little bit of pressure. He had won under really muddy circumstances the year before, so everybody's wondering, does he have what it takes in the dry? But Jakob Wenzel, a guy who was carrying momentum from his win in Rotorua, made it in the finals against last year's champion Leger, Daryl Brown.
Boy, you saw that little jump out of Daryl Brown just a little bit too early there.
That was almost it. If he would have fallen over right there, it would have been completely the end of the final round. But these guys both doing 360 tuck no-handers on the first jump and very similar speed, pretty tight together. The left side was running faster than the right. And it came down to the last jump. Daryl Brown, backflip tuck no-hander. Those flip X-up combos out of Jakob Wenzel. But of course, speed and style, we switch courses for the second run.
Well, and when your tricks can match each other, you just got to keep close in the speed side of things. And we set things up for run 2 and let these guys go at it again.
And it was pretty tight, so we're thinking, all right, they switched courses. Who's going to have it? Jakob Wenzel getting a better trick up in the ante with the 360 tuck no-hander to bar spin. But Daryl Brown just barely missing that berm, losing the front tire, all the traction gone. Jakob Wenzel got to turn the last half of that course into a victory lap.
And that's how it played out right there. Daryl Brown not able to take the win again, but that man able to take the win in Leger. And what's crazy about that too is Jakob Wenzel, you see him win, but he has been dispatched early. And that guy right there, you know, Jakob first in Rotorua, first in Leger, but out today. And you look at where he was in the King of Crankworx stands. You look at Jakob, to take a look at these King of Crankworx standing. Now that Jakob is out, okay, now he was in, I think, somewhere around that 3rd spot in the King of Crankworx standings for Jakob Wenzel. I think it was around 300 points for him on that one. But the thing is, Adrian Larone, he's the guy in the large, in the lead. Look at this. So Jakob was second, yeah, 300. Then you got Adrian Larone, who's in that top spot, 375 points for him. So the more that he advances, Cam, the better his chances of being the king.
Here's something interesting, though. Jakob Wenzel is in for the slopestyle on Sunday, so he has the opportunity to earn some points from that as well, and there's nobody else who rides slopestyle even anywhere in that race.
And he's probably in pump track too as well, so if he does good in pump track too. So we're getting a little bit of just a tiny bit of a wind hold right now. We're just trying to make sure the conditions are utmost and the safest for all the riders, because when you got that, what is it, kind of a crosswind, Cam?
Yeah, you can kind of deal with headwind or tailwind because you just adjust your speed accordingly, but sidewind makes it really tough to pull your tricks, especially the tricks that aren't rotating. You can get away with a little bit more with backflip variations and 360 variations, but it's best to just kind of wait out some big gusts.
And a guy like Martin Soderstrom, he loves that double tail whip to start things off. That could affect him, right?
That's definitely a trick that would be heavily affected by a crosswind.
Martin does have the advantage over Barry Nobles. We'll see. That's going to be coming up. And then also we're going to take a look at Reed Boggs and Greg Watts. They're going to be coming up after this race, and that one is belonging to Reed Boggs. Reed's looking fast, and he's got the tricks. You see Martin is off his bike right now. Barry's like chomping at the bit to drop in right now, right?
Yep, Barry's doing all those rotational tricks I mean, I won't say that you don't get affected at all if you're flipping or spinning, but it's definitely less than a trick like a double tail whip.
Well, wondering about this wind a little bit. I think we could check in with Tina Dixon. She's down there right now. Maybe she gets a handle of what's going on. Tina, what's going on down there with this wind?
Yeah, well, guys, I just want to give you an update. If you're wondering where the current king of Crankworx, Thomas Slavic, is, he did compete earlier against Reed Boggs. You guys were talking about Reed earlier. You know, Reed is that up-and-coming rider. This is his first year on the Crankworx Tour. Already making his presence known. Will be going up against Greg Watts earlier. But, guys, just to point out that someone like Reed can come in and knock out the current king of Crankworx.
Thank you, Tina. Well, and we saw Austin Warren come in and knock out Jakob Wenzel, who's been perfect all season long. I didn't see that coming.
It's the most unpredictable event at a Crankworx festival, and it got that nickname for a reason.
Unpredictable indeed. And you know, and the good thing is the format's been ever evolving with this one. We've been doing it for some time now, but seeing the format change, liking the way it's going now. So, but Austin Warren will go against Adrian Larone. So that matchup is already set. We'll see if Martin can continue his winning ways against Barry Nobles, because that would move him on. And then coming up, then what Tina was talking about, Reed Boggs versus Greg Watts. And you look at the next page, Tommy G, Bass Van Steenbergen, Darrell Brown, Sam Reynolds. A couple of Frenchies going at it too as well. Mitch Tubey and Thomas Lemoyne, all coming up right after this.
Because fast never goes out of style. Because epic rides should actually be epic. Because steep is relative. Code was designed to deliver massive power and predictable modulation for braking control when and how you want it, on the longest descents and under the burliest loads. Better, stronger, faster.
We all want to find our own path in life. Push past our fears, our daily twists and turns. If we keep going, something changes. That's when we find ourselves and realize there is no truer path.
Crankworx Innsbruck, brought to you by Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake. And taking a look right there, that's the actual ski jumping location from a former Olympic venue here.
Some rich sport history
oh my gosh.
in this city. Pretty cool to be able to add Crankworx to that list.
Yeah, some rich winter history, but we're making the whole summer thing happen now, right? Taking a look at it right now, look at the brackets. Well, you see all the names in yellow. That means they have the advantage going into their next matchup. That way, when we see Martin go against Barry, Martin's going to have the advantage. Reed does have the advantage over Greg. Tommy G over Bass. Darrell over Sam. Yannick over Louis. And then Chubby over Tomas Lemoyne on that one. The only one that we have figured out right there is the Adrian Larone Austin Warren matchup. Now, that one's already set.
With the suspense building with this little weather hold, I'm pretty excited. Can't wait to see this run between Martin Soderstrom and Barry Nobles. I mean, we forget because Innsbruck is a big city, but look around. We are in the mountains, and when you're in the mountains, you get some weather. We've had a really hot day, some clouds moving around. makes wind, so a little bit of a course hold here, but we'll get back underway pretty soon.
Well, earlier today, Tina Dixon had a chance to catch up with Hamish from Mons Royale, and here's what they had to talk about. Take a listen.
Thanks, guys. And right now I'm hanging out with Hamish Eklund, who is from Mons Royale. In fact, traveled all the way from New Zealand. That is not an easy trek, my friend. So how are you enjoying this event so far?
Well, I tell you what, in New Zealand right now, it is cold and it's snowing, and here it's absolutely cooking. And I think course is amazing. Innsbruck is amazing. Everyone that's traveled here, I think, is having a good time.
Yeah, and you know, when I first went to Rotorua, New Zealand, everyone was telling me, you've got to get this gear, Mons Royale. So what makes it so special?
I think it's probably just a simple combination of a great product, like the functionality of merino wool, and we use the best stuff, so we make it premium. And then I think it's just like the mix of design and what we do with within the community and the sports community that we all love, which is like coming to events like this.
Yeah, and so New Zealand, obviously you're very well known there, but is there an office now over here?
Yeah, that's right. So we've been in Europe for nearly 8 years, I think. Yeah, something like that, 8 years since 2009. And but right now we're setting up an office in Innsbruck, which will be our home, our community home. So we're starting to build that out, and Innsbruck will be a place that will come regularly.
Ah, very exciting. Well, I'm going to let you go enjoy the rest of the event. Guys, send it back to you.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you so much, Tina Dixon. Catching up earlier with Hamish from Mons Royale. And you know what? They really do an amazing job, and great to have them as part of our Crankworx family here. And great to have all these great people of Innsbruck part of our Crankworx family here, Cam.
You know, it's exciting to see such a big crowd in the first year, and you know it's just going to continue to build each year that we come back. Something interesting is you always see these little kids watching after they get off from school, and who knows, maybe we'll see a couple of those kids competing in a couple years.
You never know, and you seem like it gets a little bit fired up. There's a look at Barry Nobles. He just wants to go. You can't see his face, but I can just feel.
He's just not moving from that gate, is he? He's ready to rock.
I am camping. He's going to set up a Coleman stove and a tent right there, and he's there for the duration.
I'm looking at some flags right now. I mean, we see some hair moving, so maybe it's windier over there than the flag that I'm looking at, but the wind has changed direction, a little bit more tailwind right now. Perfect opportunity for you to go onto Facebook and be part of Crankworx family on Facebook, right? You could do that. A little bit of a wind hold, grab your phone, go to the Crankworx Facebook page.
It's great, facebook.com/Crankworx. Look at that. You like it, and then you get all this content that just shows up right in front of your face. Boom.
Yeah, with so much going on at each stop of this festival series, there's so many different disciplines. It's nice to have one spot where you can go and get caught up on all of them.
You can do that, facebook.com/Crankworx. Give them a like while you're out there. You can see that 35, I think it's a lot more than that following, 35,999. Hey, but this is our first broadcast, but you were out here, you and Andrew Needling were doing the whip-off. The whip-off was on Wednesday. Good turnout for that, huh, for the whip-off?
Yeah, and just the scenery where they built that whip-off jump right next to a big lake overlooking the mountains and the city. Probably the most scenic whip-off we've ever had at Crankworx.
You look at everybody, big smiles on their face. Barry Noble's not leaving that gate. Well, coming into this whole event, it was all about Jakob Wenzel, the man to beat, and for good reason. He wins in Rotorua, then he comes out and says, that wasn't a fluke, I can win it again in Leger. I mean, look at the medals from Jakob Wenzel. Definitely the man to beat until today, Cam.
That's why they call it the most unpredictable discipline in Crankworx mountain biking. Here we have Austin Warren deciding that he wants to start being a speed and style competitor. He's a racer, but he learned how to backflip, and he's got so much speed. He's able to gap so far ahead of Jakob Wenzel, knocking out the champ.
And it's got to be one of those situations, if you're Austin Warren, I don't think a lot of people probably gave him, thought there was an opportunity for Austin Warren to actually beat Jakob. I really don't think so.
Well, he hangs out with Kyle Strait and Mitch Ropolato, two names that are big in speed and style. Neither of them out here today, but that's who he's been traveling with. So I think some of their influence has been what led to him pushing himself outside that comfort level, leaning back off that lip at speed and doing a backflip.
And then we started talking about all the racers learning to do tricks and how important that is, because if you're going to want to win and you're a race guy, you want to win. But Barry Nobles, you can't really label him a race guy because he's been working on tricks.
He's an everything guy now, a speed and style specialist, doing backflip tailwhips in his run. He was practicing 360 tail-ups yesterday. Not sure if we'll see him bring that out, but he's got to go against Martin. Here's a look back at their first run. A super flip, basically a backflip while being upside down for Barry Nobles, and then that backflip tail-up on the last jump. I mean, those are hammer tricks. To be able to go up against Martin Soderstrom,
man.
Martin's going to have to do bigger tricks in this next run. That's completely reversed from what we would have expected would happen looking at the names of those riders.
So what you do is you just relax. BMX racer turned mountain biker Barry Nobles.
I think he's making a statement right here, not leaving the gate.
I am going to camp out here. I want to race, man. Well, I think you bring up a good point, too, about with Martin. He's got to kind of judge what he's going to have to do when these two go at it again. Now, is he going to be reserved? I mean, he still has the advantage.
He has the advantage on speed. He's got to go as fast as he did before, but I think he's going to have to do a 360 tail-up somewhere on the course.
Mons Royale dual speed and style in a slight wind hold here. Innsbruck, Crankworx, stop number 3 on the Crankworx World Tour. You can see good crowd because we're way up in the mountains, we're way away from the city here. I was wondering how many people would be up here, but boy, we got a good crowd coming up here. Well, slopestyle, boy, I tell you what, it's down to who can win the Triple Crown as well as take the win, and that's between Nikolai Rogakin and Brett Reeder on that one. There's your times for Sunday, slopestyle Sunday, presented by Kenda. And that'll be at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. I'll tell you what, if you'd like to go in style and go join Crankworx and Whistler, there's a VIP package that you definitely want to be part of.
Man, the big show and everyone watching Crankworx World Tour.
Several dimensions are shaping victories. Distance.
He landed, brother, behind you!
Degrees of rotation.
Are you kidding me?
Time.
Can he keep it up? Just in time.
This year, Crankworx Whistler is shaping the next dimension. For accommodation and VIP package information, visit crankworx.com.
And yeah, you want to get in there in those VIP packages, and if you do it for July 1st, I think it's about $99 to get yourself in there. Front row in Whistler for the big show.
If you're looking for an opportunity for a vacation, that's got to be the most entertaining thing to do this summer.
So it looks like we're going to go out of order on this one. And Louis Ribot and Yannick Ranieri, they're upwind. We don't care. We want to just race each other right now. So now Yannick Ranieri has the advantage over Louis. So Louis in that white t-shirt, Yannick in that black t-shirt. Yannick with the advantage. France versus France here. Back to the action.
And if you remember from round 1 here, they had identical trick scores. There we go, similar to what we saw in run 1, a backflip tail-up from Yannick, a backflip tuck-no-hander from Louis Ribot, and these guys have been very close on their speed. Let's see if anybody has some surprises for this last jump. Backflip tail-up for Louis Ribot and a flat spin X-up for Yannick, same as run number 1, so it's going to come down to the speed.
And Yannick with the advantage over their first matchup right now. Did Louis make up enough to knock Yannick out, or will Yannick be advancing on? He will. Whoever advances on will be facing the winner, Mitch Chubby and Thomas Lemoyne. They will get at it in a little bit. Yannick looks all busy. Now, you said he retired from slopestyle competition?
Yeah, I talked to him earlier today, and he said that he's not competing in slopestyle anymore indefinitely. Hard to get the points to get the invitations for these big diamond-level events on the Crankworx Tour, so he's putting all of his focus, you know, in the competitive part of his brain. All of his focus is going into speed and style.
So let's take a look at it right here.
So the judges will be splitting hairs looking at the execution. When you got top-level trick riders like these two athletes, there's absolutely no flubs. Feet straight to the pedals, landing right on the landing, perfectly straight.
Well, this means Yannick's going to get it, 90 and a 70. Yeah, by 0.3 runs. So Yannick has done it. He will be moving on, and Louis Ribot is done for the day. So maybe that whole R word, the retirement thing, is not a bad idea for Yannick, because he is moving on, and he's going to be making it to the round of 8, the Elite 8 for Yannick Ranieri.
I think there's a fire burning in Yannick right now to do well in this event, so it's good to see for him moving through that round.
Well, wait a minute. We're getting word from our officials right there. There might be a DQ out of Yannick on this one by missing a gate.
Oh man, we're gonna have to get a replay. It'll definitely be the section with the flags in the ground right after the first trick jump. We were talking about it before. It's easy to miss these gates after doing your trick. He got the first one. Oh, he went over the gate instead of around it on the second gate. We had some officials standing alongside that section of the course knowing that that could potentially happen.
Now we got to see that again. Let's rewind that and take a look at that one more time. I want to see that. Did Yannick actually, it looks like you said, Cam, he looks like he goes right over it. So he gets around that. So he made
it around that one. It's that white flag coming up on the left side of your screen. He goes right over the top of it. And it's a matter of inches, but it's those inches that matter.
Yeah,
that equals a DQ in dual slalom racing, so it does here in speed and style.
Yes, it does. So he has been eliminated just like that. He is done. So something that he was not planning on happening to him. So Louis Ribot will move on. And Yannick, oh man, I tell you what, he is probably one mad Frenchman right now.
Yannick is saying, we don't have gates in slopestyle. What is this speed style thing?
But what is this gate
to be
stuff?
fair, it is incredibly hard to land a technical trick and then keep your eyes up. Sometimes you don't land exactly where you need to be set up for that next gate.
So now we got Reed Boggs, Greg Watts. Reed in that blue and black right there. You got Greg Watts right in front of us. So here we go, back to racing. USA versus USA.
Reed Boggs had a nice advantage coming out of the first run. A front flip for Reed and a backflip tail up for Greg Watts. Greg definitely showing more than he has so far in the race, knowing that he needs to pull out all the stops.
Well, you know, Greg has the tricks to do it.
But he had a straight flip on the last jump in the first run, so he needs a combination here. Backflip, bar spin, X up for Greg this time, and he crossed the finish line first. Will it be enough, Brad?
No, it looks like they're saying that 47.3 Reed was across first on that one. But Greg Watts definitely got the combo in. Last one, you got to wonder, is the combo enough to make up the difference, Cam?
It all depends on what Reed did on the second jump. They were so close. Reed had that front flip up top, which has been scoring well all day. Super high consequence maneuver to be pulling in a speed and style event.
Yeah, first jump too, yeah.
I mean, we saw Mitch Ropolato have that huge crash last week trying to do the front flip. But it gets rewarded if you can put it to the ground. So front flip for Reed Boggs, back flip tail right to the pedals, not missing a gate for Greg Watts. Oh, it was a back flip bar spin, a tough no-hander for Reed. And Greg definitely crossed the finish line first.
Well, by the difference of 90-80 and an 80-90, and since Reed had the advantage, Reed Boggs will be the one, and Greg Watts is done. So Reed Boggs. Reed Boggs from the U.S. Let's take care of fellow countrymen. Greg Watts, so Greg Watts is out. And Reed Boggs will face the winner of the Barry Nobles Martin Soderstrom matchup.
If we ever get to see it, right?
Yeah, we're skipping around that right now.
Oh, there we go, Brad.
Now it's time. It's go time. There's Martin. Martin Soderstrom right there in the white T-shirt on the right-hand side. Barry Nobles right there. Showing you the horns. 0.75 is what Nobles has to make up. Now, BMX racer, so he knows the gate. So the gate could be in his advantage, Cam.
Martin's been having pretty good snaps, though. Yeah, you're right. A little bit of an advantage there for Barry Nobles. After all that waiting, let's see if they can land their tricks. A 360 tail for Barry Nobles. A double whip for Martin. Martin gets the pedals. Barry Nobles does not. After all that waiting, Barry goes and tries a trick that he was about 20% on in practice, just going to show that he's not afraid. But Martin Soderstrom will be advancing.
You got to give it up for Barry Nobles right there. Like you said, he was 20% chance of pulling that off, but that's not the kind of game that he plays. He was behind in the matchup, and he was just going to go for broke on that one.
I really like the style of Barry Nobles. Definitely one of the most entertaining athletes out here in speed and style. Never holding back.
Roll the dice. Would you roll the dice in that situation, Cam, if the tables were turned, that was you?
Not many people would. That's why Barry Nobles is such a highly respected athlete.
So Martin, who got third place in Leger last week, is still in this mix now. So Martin has done his job, and he's made it to the Elite 8 coming up for you. Now we take it back up top. Next up, here we go. Looks like the Tommy G on this one. Tommy G and Bass Van Steenbergen. There's Bass, 0.88. He's got to make that up. Tommy G, the leader. You know Tommy's got the tricks, that's for sure.
And riding a cable gyro with no front brake. Somehow he also has the speed, getting a gate start ahead of Bass Van Steenbergen. Bass Van Steenbergen on the left side here screwed with that no-footed can-can. Not going to be enough against the 360 variation out of Janon, and Janon is hanging with him. This rider's right side looks to be a little bit faster in all these rounds, so Tommy G needs to keep close right here, and he needs a big trick off this last jump. Backflip tuck no-hander.
So the combo right there on the backflip is going to help his cause right there. You see the time, 46.19, so very close. But I think that Tommy G is going to edge him on the tricks on the jumps.
But it's really good to see Bass going for that no-footed can-can with really nice extension as well. Looking forward to the replay on that.
Well, I predict that Bass is going to come to Whistler and he's going to have more tricks under his belt by the time he gets to Whistler in August.
Well, I give him a hard time all the time because
I know you do.
He has no excuses. His brother Tom Van Steenbergen, one of the best free riders in the world, has an airbag, a mulch jump, so the 360 variation for Thomas Janon, a knack-knack on the last jump for Bass Van Steenbergen. There's our trick scores, Brad.
Yeah, if Bass can turn those 25s and those 20s into 50s and 60s, he's going to be able to hang with the pack, that's for sure, but not on this one. Tommy G's done it. He is moving on. So Tommy G will move on, and he'll face the winner of our next matchup, which is the Battle of Great Britain. That is Darrell Brown and Sam Reynolds. Remember, Darrell Brown second place in Leger. You look at what Darrell Brown, he really loves Leger because Darrell Brown was second last week, and then the year before, Darrell Brown won it in Leger. So there's Darrell Brown, the white t-shirt on the right. And then you got Sam Reynolds with the full face on the left. 0.54. Cam, can this be made up by Sam Reynolds?
Oh, without a doubt. Sam has been looking really fast in practice. He's definitely excelling in those gates. And being a former slopestyle competitor on the Crankworx Tour, he's got the tricks. I mean, Darrell Brown has the momentum right now coming into this event. Oh, the 360 tuck to bar from Darrell Brown, the 361 foot X up from Sam Reynolds. A little bit of an edge through those gates by Sam Reynolds.
Reynolds looking really fast here. Oh yeah, big lead by Reynolds. What's he got?
Where did he find all that time? Backflip tuck no-hander for both athletes. A little bit of a slip pedal for Darrell Brown, but that gap, look at Sam Reynolds put on Darrell, that's going to be tough to beat.
That's almost a second and a half between those guys right there. And tricks somewhat similar, but remember, there was the 0.88 is what he had to make up. So you got to wonder, was that enough for Sam Reynolds to take down Darrell Brown?
This could really be another upset right here. Not because Sam Reynolds doesn't have what it takes, but Darrell has been so consistent at the earlier stops on this tour.
This one's going to come down to it. This was going to be so close. Now the winner will go against Tommy G, so that's the matchup, whoever moves on. But let's take a look at the jumps and dissect them here and take a look and see if we can figure out who did what. 70 versus 70, uh-oh.
I don't think Darrell Brown got his hands off on that 360 tuck no-hander to bar spin. That may be why he got a lower score than what you would have expected.
Well, 70s all across the board for all of them, so I got to think that he just made this up. Yes, he did. Sam Reynolds has done it. He's made up the difference, and Sam Reynolds has dispatched the guy who got second place last week. So we've seen Jakob Wenzel get knocked out. He was first last week, and Darrell Brown gets knocked out. Let's send it down to Tina Dixon, standing by. Tina.
Thanks, guys. Sam, you are moving on. Where did you find the speed on this course?
I don't really know. He beat me in the first one, and I was pretty bummed. Well, not bummed because he's my mate, so I don't really mind to lose to anyone, that's cool. And just pulled out a stormer then, so well happy, yeah.
You know, you're going up against Tommy G in the next round. What are your thoughts on that? Slopestyle?
That's pretty cool. I'm not much of a slope guy these days. Clearly I should maybe do a bit of racing, hey?
Well, it's working so far. Best of luck.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Man, what a turnabout right here. Like, if you would have told me this, Cam, at the start, that we would not see Jakob Wenzel making it in, we'd not see Daryl Brown, I'd have a hard time believing that.
I think Daryl Brown was feeling the pressure from Jakob Wenzel from last week. Jakob did that 360 tuck no-hander to Barsman. Daryl struggling with it a little bit there, trying a trick that maybe he doesn't have completely locked down, and that can also take your focus off of the gates as well.
Well, final heat of the round of 16, Mitch Chubby and Tomas Lemoyne right there. Here's Lemoyne, he's got the lead by just 0.74. Chubby can definitely make it up because both these dudes can drop some big tricks.
So the definition of bar-to-bar racing here. Mitch Chubby on the left side of your screen right now on the red bike. Thomas Lemoyne on that fire paint job hardtail, making it to the first jump. Before Mitch, a 360 double Barsman out of Lemoyne.
A little bit of a case for Chubby on that first jump.
You've seen this rider's right side looking to have a bit of an advantage. Lemoyne with a good lead coming into the last jump. And the advantage coming into this round, a backflip tuck no-hander to little X up.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough for Chubby because he was behind on that one. A 45.49, so you look at the time difference, that's close to 2 seconds. 2 3/4 on that one, but the tricks, I got to think that he's going to have the edge. And it looked like a little bit of a case on that first jump by Chubby, Cam.
Yeah, I think he did a backflip bar spin coming up a little bit short. Would hurt him being able to line up nicely for those gates.
And not that it was a bad run, but remember, he's playing catch-up because he was not, he had the disadvantage in that one.
Definitely tough to fight from behind. Got some replays coming on the screen right now. Chubby had that backflip bar spin, like you said, coming up a little bit short, but not blowing a foot off the pedal. But the straight backflip is going to hurt him way more than casing the first jump.
True that, 90 to a 60 and a 72 to a 40. And that means Mitch Chubby goes bye-bye. Tomas Lemoyne, he is going to be moving on, and he's going to be facing Louis Rabot. Well, let's take a look at it. Now we've got it down from our Sweet 16 to our Elite 8. And let's take a look at the competition brackets. Here we go. Austin Warren from the U.S., Adrian Larone, they will go head-to-head. He took care of Jakob Wenzel. That was a big one right there. Martin Soderstrom, he's going against Reed Boggs. Reed knocked out Greg. Martin knocked out Barry. Tommy G going against Sam Reynolds. That's a good matchup right there, too, as well. And then we go back up top. Here we go. Here's what we've been talking about, the matchup I've been waiting for. Austin Warren, can he keep this going against Adrian Larone?
Adrian Larone has been competing in speed and style for a little bit longer than Austin Warren. So he not only has a backflip, but he has a 360. And the judges love to see you doing a different trick on each of the 2 trick jumps.
But can Austin Warren, with that BMX background, get the snap out of the gate here? It looks like Adrian got it on him right there.
Adrian Larone looks to mean business right now. A backflip for both riders, landing simultaneously into these slalom gates.
A little bit of gate contact there from Austin Warren.
I'm guessing we're going to see a flat spin 360 on the last jump from Larone. Austin's going to need to do another backflip. He crashed on it earlier in the day, but he's landed one since. He's got it locked in now. Austin Warren crossing the finish line first.
Interesting on that. I'm going to need to look at that again on the replay because it almost looked, I couldn't tell, but it looked like Austin made some contact with one of those gates. But I think he got around it, but we'll have to take a look at it when we go ahead and take a look at the jumps between those guys. Their first matchup, Austin Warren, Adrian Larone. Gut instinct since they were even to start, since this is their first matchup. I think Adrian might have that advantage there.
We've been talking about it. The rider's right course looks to be a little faster. So Austin with the lead in that run, but they're going to have to switch sides. That'll shake things up a bit.
23:04, yeah, it's very close. 40 to 40, okay. 45 to 40 there.
And very tight on the time.
This could be really close because Austin Warren had the edge on speed. And look at this, that means that he is going to have the lead by 0.20.
But it'll get interesting when they switch sides. Larone doing that 360 down there, getting an extra 5 points over Austin Warren, who's doing the same trick on each jump.
So Austin Warren, and talking to judges about that, they're saying they're going to score the jump separately. So if you do the same trick, that does not hurt you. If you do backflips on both jumps, you're still going to get the same score. So Austin Warren with the advantage here as the The evening is getting upon us out here in Innsbruck. Stop number 3, Crankworx World Tour. It's Martin Soderstrom in the white t-shirt going against USA's Reed Boggs out of Hurricane.
Each of these riders has a trick that nobody else is doing right now in today's competition. Martin's showing that double whip, Reed's showing that front flip. What's it gonna be when they're head to head? Martin gets there first with the double tail up, a front flip from Reed Boggs. Now Martin has a nice lead on Reed right now.
And Reed reeling back in here. Doesn't look like it. Martin's going to have a big win on the speed side of it.
360 table, but a backflip bar spin to tuck no-hander for Reed, which is undoubtedly going to score higher.
And you look at the difference in time, over a second between the two. So Martin, faster for sure. But does Reed edge him out? I mean, does it come down to jump 1? Because I think jump 2 goes to Reed, but what do you do on jump 1?
It comes down to whether or not Reed was close enough on the last jump, right before the finish line. He had a way better trick, but a second, ooh, you're getting into tough territory there because Martin also had a nicely extended 360 inverted table.
So I guess we compare the front flip versus Martin's double tail up 90 to 80.
And perfect pedals on that double tail up.
Martin with the edge. And then Reed getting the edge at the end, 90 to the 70.
No, 90 is pretty heavy. Judges loving that backflip bar spin and no-hander.
So now, and that means the advantage right there. Martin Soderstrom is going to take the advantage on that one.
Cool. 5, 1.
Well, Reed's definitely got his work cut out for him.
And that just goes to show, like, if you can extend that lead and really beat him by a good margin, then the tricks can kind of equalize things out a little bit too.
Well, Reed's going to the faster course next run, so could really shake it up.
The Riverson Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox, that's going on for you tomorrow. Myself and Andrew Needling will be with the call on the Pacific Coast. You can check it out, 11 a.m. That's going to be that start time for you. Check your local listings on that. The Riverson Club Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox. That's what's coming your way tomorrow. Our second full broadcast here in the Crankworx World Tour. Stop number 3, Innsbruck, Austria. So you see, Cam, well, we see Martin with an advantage and Austin Warren with another advantage over Adrian Lerone. I mean, I'm still caught up in this Austin Warren thing. I mean, he took up Jakob. Could he actually take out Adrian Lerone?
I mean, Lerone has the experience. He knows how to pace himself through a long day of competition as well, which is something that definitely comes in handy when you're making your way back up to the top of the course time after time again for each round that you advance out of. So which ones of these riders are going to be able to deal with the endurance aspect of this?
True that. Tommy G now, he's on the left right there at the Red Bull helmet. Sam Reynolds, he's on the right. First matchup here in the round of 8 for these guys.
Well, I'm really impressed with the speed that Thomas Janon's been able to carry through this course with one brake being a mechanical gyro brake. Not a lot of modulation. 360 one-footed X up out of Sam Reynolds, a 360 tuck no-hander out of Thomas Janon. Tommy G on what we've been calling the fast side, but looking like Sam Reynolds is going to beat him to that last jump. Well, it's neck and neck.
Neck and neck.
Backflip bar spin for Janon, backflip tuck no-hander for Reynolds.
Look at the time, 23.57, 23.60. So this is the situation. When it gets that close as far as time goes, it's all about the jump comparison now.
Oh yeah, when it's only 0.03 between the riders, it's a trick contest as long as you can maintain that pace.
Wow. Reynolds versus Tommy G. Great Britain versus Belgium on that one. Tommy G.
Well, now that we have a chance to look at it in slow-mo, good extension for Thomas Janon on that backflip, or that 360 tuck no-hander, and good extension for Reynolds on that backflip tuck no-hander. So high scoring runs there, Brad.
So it looks like Tommy G's going to get it, yeah, for sure, by only 0.09, so this one's far from over. But what we forget sometimes, I forgot to mention, Tommy G won in Whistler, okay? He's actually beat Jakob Wenzel before. So he's actually won this competition. He did it in Whistler last year, a little bit different of format. Take a look at it right here. The ones in yellow, they're halfway there. Austin Warren has the advantage over Adrian Lerone. A little bit of a surprise there. Martin Soderstrom, he's got the edge over Reed Boggs. And Tommy G has the edge over Sam Reynolds, but not by much. And a couple Frenchies gonna fight this one out right now. Louis Rabot in that white t-shirt there. Thomas Limoin on the right. Let's check in with Tina about this matchup right here. Tina?
Well, yeah, if you're looking at the gate right now, you do see Louis Rabot in there. Remember, he went up against Yannick Grenieri in the earlier heat, and Yannick actually moved on. But there was a disqualification. Yannick actually ran over a gate. So now it's Louis Rabot who is going up, and he's in the gate right now.
Well, that's interesting. It's a rough break for Yannick, because how far could Yannick have gone in this competition if he doesn't blow that gate right there?
Well, credit to Louis, though, for pushing Yannick to his limit to the point where he missed a gate, because, you know, he did not have an easy ride against Louis Rabot.
Louis Rabot, Thomas Limoin, Limoin on the right. Louis Rabot in that white t-shirt on the left. Here we go.
A pretty equal start out of the gate for both of these French riders. And the tricks. Ooh, a 360 double bar spin out of Thomas Limoin, and Louis Rabot making a mistake, not getting his hands off. You can tell he was looking for the backflip tuck no-hander. So he's gonna have to make up for that on the last jump. Head-to-head into the last jump. Backflip, tail whip for Louis Rabot. Definitely making up for the bobble on jump number one.
And that's keeping it close. 23.73, 23.56. Limoin faster by a little bit over Rabot there. But as you did mention, it will go to that. We'll have to take a look at the first jump there. It looks like Louis missed that one, right?
He missed the hands on the first jump, which is definitely going to hurt him. He'll just get the same score for that straight backflip that all the racers have been getting who
40,
don't
I think
plan
that
on
is,
putting a variation into it. Yeah, it's typically been a 40, but if you get the tuck no-hander, it's scoring more close to the 70s.
I'll take a look here. There's jump number one.
Yep, a 360 double bar spin, which is going to be a 90 for Thomas Limoin on jump number one. A backflip bar spin to X up for Thomas Limoin, which will give him an 80, but a 90 for Louis Rabot getting that backflip tail whip.
Well, that means Limoin is going to have the advantage by 0.60 over Louis Rabot, and you just got to think what could have been on that. If he doesn't get, if he gets those hands off, that's a different story right there.
Yeah, absolutely. That could have been the difference. Just going to show how no room for mistakes once the level of competition rises to the level where it's at right now.
Started with 32, went down to 16. Now we're in the 8. We've seen one run apiece from all of our competitors here in our final 8 here going on. And there is the man right there, Adrien Lerone. Boy, this man has been such the king of second places.
In events where Austin Warren wasn't here, though, we got the new kid on the block. So does Lerone actually have a strategy for Austin Warren?
Well, he probably didn't know much to do towards him, but 0.20 is what he's got to make up. And Austin Warren, it's no fluke. He's already beat Jakob Wenzel, so he knows what to do.
So Lerone has been having a 5-point advantage in the tricks over Austin Warren because he does the 360 on that last jump. So Austin needs to go that much faster, considering that he's only doing backflips on both of the jumps.
Oh, look at that. Looks like Austin with that snap right there.
So Austin on the right side of your screen right now with the advantage, but trailing Adrien Lerone right now. Both riders with backflips off the first jump. Lerone is on the fast course. Can Austin Warren hang tough? He's throwing roost right on his tail. A 360 for Lerone, a backflip for Austin Warren, sprinting through the finish line.
Oh, wow, this one's going to be tough because that's a half a second difference right there. Adrien Lerone faster by a half a second. Remember, he's playing catch up on this one. So high fives are due on that, but now it just goes to the jumps. I got to think they're even on that first jump, right?
Yeah, they'll be even there, but I think doing the 360 on the last jump is really going to serve Adrien Lerone well once the judges calculate their scores.
Yeah, could this be the end of Austin Warren, or has Adrien Lerone been knocked out?
Regardless, it's going to be very, very close.
Here we go.
I mean, they're riding the same colored jerseys, doing the same trick.
40-40.
Similar pace, but that 360 right there scores a little bit higher. It's a 45.
But now, remember, Adrien had the disadvantage, so is it enough? This one's going to be close. By 0.60, Adrien Lerone has done it. He has moved on, and Austin Warren, what an amazing day for him, but Adrien Lerone proving just a little too much for him. And And let's send it down to Tina, standing by with the run. Tina.
Yeah, and Adrian, you had to go up against Austin. A lot of people were wondering, how do I strategize against this rider? So how did you do it?
First of all, I'm riding with clip pedals, which is not too comfortable, but it's a bit faster on the gate. And I'm trying my best with the small tricks that I have, and yeah, trying to go fast, basically.
How much do you want to win this event? You finished on the podium before, but how much do you want to win this event now?
I never won any speed and style, so it could be very nice, especially in Innsbruck. But yeah, I'm here to give my best, so we'll see.
Thanks, Adrian. Best of luck moving on. All right, guys.
Well, nicely done. I mean, Adrian Leron, Leger 2016, he was second place out there. Third place in Rotorua 2016. Then another second place for him in Rotorua in March. And off the podium last week in Leger. So he has not won it, but when you're in the lead for the King of Crankworx, every point. I mean, you take the win out here, that's 150 points. That just gets you even that much a lead over the rest of the guys. So Martin Soderstrom now and Reed Boggs 1.2. That is a big one, Cam.
Well, Reed is on the faster course right now. He's been throwing some pretty big tricks, so he needs an absolutely flawless run right now to knock out Martin Soderstrom. Reed Boggs getting to the first jump before Martin. Martin with that double tail up, Reed Boggs with that front flip we've been seeing him throw all day. But Martin appears to have the lead right now. We won't really know until they finish this over-under section of the course. Oh, they're gonna get there at the same time. Backflip tail up for Reed Boggs.
45-45, so he's faster. Martin is faster out of the two.
Reed knew he had to do something uncomfortable, and that backflip tail up on the last jump may have been enough if he was closer, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
No, with the difference, I don't think that is enough to get back through.
Martin had the advantage going into this second run.
And he has the speed on him too. And their tricks aren't so far off on the numbers-wise. This will show you right here, 90 versus 90, even.
And let's look at this last jump. Martin with the 360 table. Obviously not as big of a trick as the backflip tail up, but Martin knew he had the advantage going in. Plus, he got to that last jump before Reed.
Yeah, too much to make up, so that's going to do it. Martin Soderstrom has done his job. He is moving on.
But looking toward the future, I mean, Reed Boggs, a 90 on both of those jumps. Definitely, if he gets a little bit faster, he's going to be someone who's tough to beat in the future.
So Martin Soderstrom and Adrian Leron, those guys are going to go at it. They have secured their spot in the Final Four. We have yet to see if Tommy G can take down Sam Reynolds, or can Thomas Lemoyne take down Louis Rabot. Two more races, and then we'll have our Final Four set for today here in Mons Royale dual speed and style. Chemical Brad J out here. Third stop of Crankworx World Tour, Innsbruck, Austria. There's Reynolds. Reynolds on the left, the Polygon kit. Then you got the IXS kit right there on the right. Tommy G, 0.09. This is just almost even, Cam.
0.09, and Sam gets to ride the fast course now. No room for any mistakes out of Thomas Janon. All right, into the first trick jump. 360 tuck no hander for Thomas Janon. A 360 one-footed X up for Sam Reynolds. Like you said, a 0.09
that's nothing.
Differential between these guys.
Reynolds first to the jump.
Combo. Oh, Tommy G missing the variation. Sam Reynolds got his hands off, but Thomas Janon did not.
Now remember, Tommy G had the advantage, but it wasn't by much. We'll have to we're gonna take a look at it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it kind of looks like Sam Reynolds might have just made up the difference right there by Tommy not getting that combo at the end.
Yeah, if Janon had a bigger differential going into that round, he may have been able to get away with not getting the hands off, but getting to that finish line jump second and missing the variation, that's going to be rough.
The judge is eyeing it out.
Okay, I think Janon might know it. He's like, oh, I think I messed up.
It's probably one of those things you feel it. Above there, you can see the city off in the distance right there.
Be some good eating in the city tonight once we finish this. Great restaurants down there.
Okay, here we go. 70 versus 70, even.
The hands come off for Sam Reynolds.
Oh.
They don't come off, and he's upside down going, oh, I messed up. See him wiggling the handlebars.
Yeah, you can see the head move right there.
Only a 40 for that straight backflip.
.88. Sam Reynolds has done it. Tommy G's done. And Sam Reynolds will be going on to the Final Four. And we got 3 set in our Final Four, but we still got 2 more guys. The Battle of France now. Wow, so Sam Reynolds showing you he's got what it takes for speed and style.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the finals. He's looking pretty good. He's got all the tricks and a ton of speed in those flat corners.
He's going to be battling it out for a medal at some point. What color is that medal going to be? It's going to be up to him. But right now, Thomas Lemoyne, he's your leader by .60. So this is another close one between him and Louis Ribaud. One mistake on Lemoyne's part, and Louis Ribaud could have the door wide open for him.
Well, Louis been scoring really high with that backflip tail up on the last jump. He's going to need to do it again. He's going to need something big here. A cork 720 from Louis Ribaud. Wow, that's going to be the highest scoring trick we've seen all day. Can he stay close enough to Lemoyne's back tire to make it count?
That's what you got to do. We've got to reel him back in here.
And he needs the flip up on the last jump because he's behind by a bit. Backflip tail up right to pedals.
Oh! I mean, look, okay, so that's 2 seconds almost. That's 2 seconds that Lemoyne got him on the time. So 2 seconds. But now it comes to the jumps on this one.
If the backflip tail up has been scoring a 90, that cork 720 is going to be somewhere above that. Not a lot of room to grow right there, but I got to be thinking it's at least a 95.
Yeah, 95, or does he go to 100?
Well, take a look at this first jump, a 360 double bar spin on the left side of your screen from Thomas Lemoyne, but it was all about that cork 720.
100.
A 100 for Louis Ribaud on jump number 1.
And then an 80 versus Louis Ribaud's 90. So Ribaud gets him on both jumps. Is that enough to make up almost that 2 second gap right now? Not enough to do it right there.
But hey, it was really fun to watch, wasn't it?
It sure was fun to watch. So Thomas Lemoyne, he'll cruise on into the next round. The Final Four is set here in Innsbruck. There you go. Adrian Lerone, he will face, oh, that's going to be a good one right there. Martin Soderstrom, they're going to go head-to-head here in the semis. And then Sam Reynolds will go against Thomas Lemoyne on that one. That's how it's looking right here. Amazing first day going on here. Your Mons Royale dual speed in style. It's all coming your way. The Final Four, who's going to be battling it out for the gold? Who's going to be battling it out for the bronze? Well, I'll tell you what, if I were you, I'd stick around because it's all coming up right after this.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are, or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Drop it.
Innsbruck, Austria, brought to you by Riverson Club.
Yeah, we are back here, Mons Royale dual speed and style.
Well, here we are in just unbelievable Innsbruck, Austria side of Crankworx World Tour stop number 3. First time ever in Austria. Just to take a look for you that might be geography challenged. This is the location. And not too far away from the big city, are we, Cam?
No, and the photos that are going to come out of this event, the backdrop we have here, the proximity to the big city of Innsbruck, very, very unique atmosphere.
Yeah, just amazing to see Crankworx grow and grow, and growing so much that we come out here and make this the number 3 stop on the Crankworx World Tour. Started things out in Royale, Leger last week, and here we are in Austria. Semifinal round started with 32, went to 16, dropped it down to 8. Here we are with our final 4. And those 2 guys right there, that's Martin Soderstrom on the right, Adrian Lerone on the left. Martin with that Red Bull helmet on. Here we go.
This is a serious matchup, Brad. Adrian Lerone with a nice hole shot out of the gate, a backflip for him, and a double tail whip for Martin Soderstrom. Martin hanging tight to Adrian Lerone.
That's what he's got to do. The tricks will see him through if he can stay close.
Story as old as time, the racer versus the free rider. Tighter gaps between the two now more than ever. A 360 for Lerone, a 360 table for Martin Soderstrom. Martin maybe should have thrown something bigger on that last jump.
I'm almost thinking the same thing when I saw that. Some high fives between the bros there. So that's going to come down. Well, obviously, you know, you look at the first jump, the double tail whip. Martin's been doing that all day on that first jump.
It's been scoring really high for him.
And he knows it. He's pointing at him. Martin's saying,
saying, this guy, he's so fast.
He's the flying Frenchman, Martin. Of course he is.
Could not imagine racing side by side with Adrian Lerone and thinking, all right, double tail whip.
Going against Martin Soderstrom. He's like 10 feet tall. Here we go.
There was that double tail whip. The way he does that is so optimized for speed and style, staying low.
So under a second between them. So a 90 and a 50, a 40 and a 45. Martin kind of left the door open on that second one. Yeah, he did. So Martin needs something else on that second jump because he's going to have the disadvantage by 0.23.
Martin only getting 5 extra points for the fact that his bike is inverted, so I think he's going to have to choose a different trick on that second jump for the next run.
It's going to force him to. I mean, you got to think that he was close to him, but remember, switching sides too, is that going to be the faster side?
Martin will be on what looks to be the faster side, so a little bit more strategy and then having the faster side in his favor. Martin's still definitely got a chance.
And we say that that's the fast side, but we don't really know. That's unofficial, right?
Yeah, it's just been looking that way all day, hasn't it?
All right, now we have, of course, we got Sam Reynolds now. There's Sam Reynolds on the left, the Polygon kit right there. And you got Canyon rider Thomas Lemoyne on the right. Their first matchup today. Oh, look at that snap out of Lemoyne.
Great snap out of Lemoyne. A lot of choices for tricks for both of these riders. A 360 double bar spin for Lemoyne is going to score higher than that 361 footed X up. And Lemoyne racing him hard. Oh, I think they're going to meet up at this finish line jump pretty tight together. Backflip tuck no hander for Reynolds and a backflip bar spin for Lemoyne. Man, as we get deeper into these rounds, they're just going further and further down the landing on that last jump.
So a little over a half a second difference right there. Now it comes down to the tricks on that one between these two guys. Does Reynolds take the advantage over Lemoyne? Does Lemoyne take the advantage over Reynolds? You say Adrian Lerone with the advantage over Martin, but you know Martin's going to change his game over, which we think that left side might be a little bit faster.
The rider's right side, yeah, it's been looking a little bit faster all day.
Yeah, rider's right, looker's left.
So a great extension on that 360 one-footed X up for Sam Reynolds. That will help because the 360 double bar spin up top will score higher. But flip tuck no-hander on the left side of your screen for Sam Reynolds and a backflip bar spin for Lemoyne. Look at the scores.
Yep, Sam Reynolds has done his job in their first matchup. Sam Reynolds will take the advantage, 0.25. And the speed helped him out on that one. So Lemoyne's going to have some work. Okay, so look, the yellow once again here in the semifinals. Adrian Lerone, his name is in yellow because he does have the advantage over Martin Soderstrom. It ain't by much, that's for sure. And then if you go down to Sam Reynolds versus Thomas Lemoyne, Sam Reynolds, he's in yellow. That means he has the advantage, and that's not by much either. So these are far from over, Cam.
So let's take a look back at only a week ago and see the matchup we had between Martin Soderstrom and Adrian Lerone. Martin doing the same thing he's doing here with that double tail up. Lerone looked to have done a 360 table on that jump, so maybe he has the ability to do that here, but a bit of a bobble on the pedals for Lerone. Coming back, trying to stick with Martin. Martin holding tight into these slalom gates. Martin made it to the finish line jump, neck and neck with Adrian Lerone. Had that 360 against the backflip of Lerone. So these guys have a history of being so tight on speed, and with Lerone learning the tricks, it was basically deja vu just moments ago.
Yes, sure was.
That double tail up again here in Innsbruck, and once again, neck and neck racing between these two riders.
You see Adrian Lerone with the advantage right there speed-wise. So same two tricks, same riders matching up, but in Leger, Martin Soderstrom the spats on Adrian Lerone and ended up on his way to the bronze medal. So Martin Soderstrom did that. In this case, Martin's going to be forced to do something different on that last jump.
Yeah, I think Lerone is definitely going to be coming into this round looking to make up for getting knocked out last week. And if Martin wants to play some defense and not let that happen, I think we're going to have to see a bigger trick on the last jump.
Well, I got to think he's going to play the strategy card in this one. I don't think, if I'm Martin at this point, I'm probably going to change that trick up. But now if you're beating him by speed, if that side course is faster, the rider's right, and he's got a good lead on Adrian Lerone, does he just do the same trick?
A lot to think about, and the good thing is once they become head-to-head in the last straightaway, he'll have an idea, and if he's willing to make a last-minute decision, he may be able to not have to choose in the start gate, maybe just improvise on the way down.
But Cam, wouldn't you want to make that decision before you go? I mean, as a layman here, what do you do there?
Well, the riders physically improve from event to event, but also mentally. So to bob and weave in dual speed style format, it's sometimes beneficial to make decisions on the go.
Well, we saw that with Mitro Pilato in Leger, and that didn't work out so much. He tried to do that front flip and went down pretty hard. And that was improvising because he said at the beginning of the day there was no way he was going to try a front flip.
And then, you know what? Decisions have a way of changing when you get backed into a corner and you're facing elimination. So we were all kind of hoping that Mitro Pilato wouldn't try that, but he went for it anyways. And, man, brutal crash. So a lot of decision-making for these riders in dual speed and style.
There's Adrian Lerone. In Leger, he did quite well taking that win in pump track, but dual speed and style he has still not got the win. Could this be the day for Adrian Lerone to take a win? The dual speed and style, that's what it's all about right now. They're not talking right now. Cam, they're not communicating. It looks all business right now when you look up top right now with these guys. Adrian going to the gate, Martin going to the gate. So Adrian with the advantage. There's some knuckles. It's about as far as you're going to get between these two guys right now. 22.02. Look, 0.23, that's not much. So if I'm Martin, I'm choosing a different trick. I'm trying to step the degree of difficulty on that last jump.
Well, just see him playing with his cables right there. He maybe look at the focus on the face of Martin Soderstrom.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. Adrian Lerone, Martin Soderstrom. Martin's got to make up the difference. Adrian Lerone with the advantage.
Got to think we're going to, oh, there's the 3-whoop up top. So Martin doing a harder trick on the first trick jump. Did he reserve that double tail for the last jump? We're about to find out.
He's got to keep it close here.
Oh, he's close.
Oh, he is close.
He's going to need a huge trick, though. The double tail up on the last jump to the pedals, sprinting through the finish line.
That might be what the doctor ordered for Martin Soderstrom right there. But it's not official right now. We're going to have to go to those replays and take a look at that. But as you said, Cam, the focus that was on Martin's face, oh my goodness.
Oh, so good to see. I mean, it's reminiscent of his slope-style days when he was one of the fiercest competitors in the game. Great to see him putting that same amount of focus into speed and style.
Good catch on your part, Cam. You saw him messing with the cables right there, so you knew he had something going on
there. Was
there.
One extra tail up that was going to happen in that run at some point. So Adrien Laurent just doing that backflip, just doing that 360, a 360 tail up top, and a double tail up down the bottom for Martin Soderstrom.
90-90, 40-45.
He was close, but was it close enough? 90-90 advances.
He's done it. Martin Soderstrom will be advancing on. He made it up with the tricks right there. That was amazing. What an amazing run out of Martin Soderstrom, changing up the game. Let's send it down to Tina. Tina.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, Martin, wow. You knew you had to do something big, and I'd say you did that. When did you make the decision to go for that triple whip?
No, it was actually a double whip, but I added a tail whip on the first one instead of doing a 3 table, I did a 3 whip. So I just knew I had to pin it super hard. I mean, Laurent, we've seen him out here at the Crankworx events. That guy is so fast, and now when you also have some really good tricks, it's tough. But this crowd, Innsbruck, everything, you can't complain.
You know, we are looking at your face before you're even dropping in. You're obviously having a good time, but there's still some focus from you that we haven't seen in a while.
Oh, you never want to lose against the Frenchies. That's not happening. No, I mean, for sure. I mean, if I'm on the start line, I want to win. But then when you get to the finish line, that's when you're like, oh, this is why I chose this sport. It's the best sport in the world.
Well, you've got one more race. Best of luck. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Yeah, there's a different Martin right there at the bottom than Martin up top. I'll tell you that.
Yes,
much,
Martin. Oh, that's the Martin we know. So great to see him back on his game.
And Adrien Laurent will still have to wait for another day to try and get his first win in your dual speed and style, because he's going to have to battle it out for the bronze. So no chance for gold for Adrien Laurent today on this one. But I tell you what, that's going to push Adrien Laurent to step up even harder on his tricks. I guarantee that man's got drive. Well, there you look at it right there. Martin Soderstrom's done his thing. He's going in to battle it out for the gold medal. Adrien Laurent's going to have to battle out for the bronze. But when you're Adrien Laurent, you're still, I mean, you got to keep the prize in mind, because you're still trying to win King of Crankworx, so a medal is a big deal. Now we go back to Sam Reynolds, Thomas Lemoyne. Look at that, 0.25, the difference. Sam Reynolds, the lead over Lemoyne. They both have major tricks, but it looks like Lemoyne is on the faster side. Here we go.
And Lemoyne is motivated, basically smashing that BMX gate down into the first jump. Looked like a 360 double bar spin again for Thomas Lemoyne, a 361 footed X up for Sam Reynolds. They're sprinting through those gates, hard enough to make those gates as it is, but they're on the pedals, overshooting every jump. Lemoyne to the finish line jump first with a backflip double bar spin. Reynolds missing the hands on the last jump. Straight backflip, looking good for Thomas Lemoyne.
Indeed, because that is over a second difference on those guys right there. When you miss that trick, that could be the difference of 30 points on a trick.
That is speed and style right there, Brad J.
So Sam Reynolds with the advantage. That advantage might just disappear right there, and Sam might be heading to the battle of the bronze against Adrien Laurent, which is going to be a tough task indeed. But it's not our choice. The judges are in the booth. They're the ones that are looking at all the jumps. So we'll go back here and take a look at Reynolds versus Lemoyne. Here's jump number 1, Cam.
So there was 360 double bar spin on the left side of your screen from Thomas Lemoyne. But that was the game changer right there, missing the variation on the right side of your screen. Sam Reynolds looking to take the hands off. You can tell because he put his handlebars in his lap. That's to stabilize the bike, but the hands never came off.
And Thomas Lemoyne has moved on. Sam Reynolds will battle it out for the bronze right there. Well, let's send it down to Tina Dixon, standing by with Thomas Lemoyne.
Well, Thomas, you will move on. In fact, you'll be going up against Martin Soderstrom. Just give us your thoughts on that matchup.
I'm pretty stoked to ride against Martin because he does big tricks and he's faster. He's really fast. So I'll try my best to win, and I guess he'll try his best to win too. So let's start a battle.
You know, this is an interesting matchup because you both can do tricks. You both have proven that you're going to go fast.
Yeah, true. And Martin has some pretty big tricks. And he's pretty healthy now. He's back on the bike pretty good. So I'm sure he can win. So I'm going to try to focus a lot.
Get back up there. We're looking forward to it, guys.
Oh, boy, are we ever looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Tina, on that one. Yeah, you look at it right there. There's your battle for the gold. There's your battle for the bronze. Adrien Laurent, Sam Reynolds, they're going to do it for the bronze medal. Thomas Lemoyne, he is going to battle in against Martin Soderstrom, and they're going to do that for the gold medal. So this one is getting quite interesting. I got to ask you, do you think Martin's going to go with the same tricks?
I think Martin needs to against Lemoyne. Lemoyne, a slopestyle competitor, he's got himself in a situation where he has to go all out.
Well, we're going to find out. Yeah, that's right, because we got the battle for the gold, the battle for the bronze coming up live from Innsbruck.
Because fast never goes out of style. Because epic rides should actually be epic. Because steep is relative. Code was designed to deliver massive power and predictable modulation for braking control when and how you want it, on the longest descents and under the burliest loads. Better, stronger, faster.
We all want to find our own path in life. Push past our fears, our daily twists and turns. If we keep going, something changes. That's when we find ourselves and realize there is no truer path.
Crankworx Innsbruck, brought to you by Kenda. Well, welcome everybody for joining us out here. There you go, famous Olympic venue out here in Innsbruck, Austria. Third stop of our Crankworx World Tour, and we are set. Martin Soderstrom going against Thomas Lemoyne. They're battling it out for the gold, but you know what? You got to battle for the bronze as well, Cam.
Yeah, definitely a battle for the bronze, but all my focus is on how entertaining that gold medal round is going to be, with Martin Soderstrom putting all of his focus into speed and style. Thomas Lemoyne, a guy who's here for slopestyle, finding himself in a situation where he's got to pull out all the stops with chances to win a gold medal. That is going to be one entertaining run.
Well, you know what? We've fine-tuned the format over the years here at Crankworx, and it's really found itself to where it is right now, and it's a great way to do it. You got Martin. So good to see this big Swede come back. He's had just a rough injury outing, but to see him come back and competing for a gold, that's just an awesome thing.
With that classic look on his face too, and it sounds like he's been feeding off the crowd. There's something that happens in that guy's brain. When the crowd is cheering and the pressure's on, he definitely rises and shines.
I think you said it best, Cam, when you brought up the fact that that's the fire in his eyes that you used to see when he would compete in slopestyle.
Yeah, I mean, it's reminiscent of that one year. I think it was 2013 when he was going against Brandon Semenuk, and he, tried that 360 double tail up. He was so close to winning that event, and that's really what started his downward spiral of injuries. But to see him back full bore, that look of focus on his eyes again, stomping all these tricks, it makes you feel good.
Boy, I was there that night too, and I remember that happening, and it was like he'd already secured himself a spot on the podium, but he wasn't just settling for the podium. He wanted the win, and it was going against Semenuk. But to see that fire in his eye like you're talking about, that's an amazing thing. And speaking of fire in the eye, Adrian Lerone, this dude is always fired up to try and win. He's tried so hard here in Speed and Style. Yeah, he's taken the wins in the Pump Track Challenge, but he's not got it in Speed and Style, and I guarantee. So he's added some tricks to his repertoire, but I think with Adrian Lerone, he's going to come back in Whistler, and I think he's going to have a couple more tricks under his belt.
Well, something to remember is he's racing clipped in as well. His feet are actually attached to those pedals. They call that clipless pedals. So he can't do those feet tricks, the tail ups that you're seeing some of the other riders doing, but it has a huge benefit on the racing side of things. Like you're seeing him get that huge gate start right there, already in the lead. A 360 for Lerone and a 360 one-footed X up for Sam Reynolds. Sam Reynolds fast through those gates.
Sam's just got to keep it close right here. Here we go. towards the final jump. Can Sam keep close enough to Adrian Lerone?
Adrian Lerone, that 360. Reynolds gets his hands off this time, landing at the timing lamps.
And 22.35 to 23.07. So like 3/4 of a second right there, the difference between Lerone and Reynolds. But we always talk about that one side, that rider's right, looker's left side, seems to be a little bit faster, and that was the side Adrian Lerone was on. So now we'll equalize it with the jumps here, Cam.
Yeah, I feel like with Sam Reynolds being that close on what we've been calling the slower side, no scientific proof of that. It just seems to be the way things have been going here.
Yeah.
So that might bid well for when they switch sides for Sam Reynolds.
Jumps, here we go.
360, one-footed X up, great extension for Sam Reynolds.
40 to 70.
Yep, got the straight backflip and the straight 360 out of Lerone.
45.
Taking the hands off, that's what takes that backflip from a 40-point trick to a 70-point trick.
That's 30 points. It's a big difference when you get that in there. So Adrian Lerone's going to have the advantage by 0.14. That's it, 1/4. That's a difference that can be made up because they switch sides, and we keep thinking that other side is a little bit faster. Will it prove to that?
Very, very attainable for Sam Reynolds.
Yeah, that's almost like being even, especially when you have more tricks in your bag than the guy you're racing against.
Sam Reynolds found himself in a pretty good position here in his quest for that bronze medal.
And that's the deal, man. You got to keep it close, and he's done that, just that. But Adrian Lerone still, let's not forget, he does have the advantage, but he just doesn't have the scale of tricks that, that Sam Reynolds has. But there's the look that we keep talking about. That is just ice.
So they're in the gate, ready to rock, but let's take a look at how they got to this point in the finals. So Martin Soderstrom up against a formidable opponent in Barry Nobles, a guy who's been working on his tricks. He tried to do the 360 tail up. It would have been exactly what he needed to do to compete against Martin Soderstrom, but Soderstrom walking out of that round smoothly. Reed Boggs throwing front flips, a trick that's been scoring 90. So in that situation, Martin was behind at this point with his tricks and still hadn't pulled out the 360 tail whip. But neck and neck, Reed Boggs goes for the backflip tail whip. Still, Martin playing the strategy card, makes it up against Adrian Lerone. And knows he has to do the 360 tail whip. And good thing he did, because it was a tight race. He said it himself, when you're racing against a guy who's as fast as Adrian Lerone, you can't hold anything back. So double tail up on the last jump, sprinting through the finish line. That's how Martin found himself in the finals.
Well, Tomas Lemoyne now talk about his venture to the top here.
There's a lot of roads to the finals, but no easy ones. 360 double bar spin against Mitch Chubby was how Thomas Lemoyne found himself here, with a big gap doing that backflip tuck no hander and X up. And then Louis Rabot, a guy who did a trick worthy of a 100 score. So basically, Louis is throwing everything at Thomas Lemoyne that he has, trying to make it into the finals. But Lemoyne maintaining composure, even though he's here specifically for slopestyle, he's got those big tricks and the speed. But now against Sam Reynolds, a guy who's been very, very fast in the slalom gate portion right after this first trick jump, sticking with that 360 double bar spin that's been serving him well. Sam Reynolds almost throwing it away, knowing that he has to push it to the limit to be able to still see Thomas Lemoyne. Backflip, double bar spin, but when Sam Reynolds missed that flip tuck no-hander, Lemoyne found himself in the finals.
And now we go to the gate, because they're stacked and racked and ready to do it now for the gold medal. The gold medal matchup between Martin Soderstrom from Sweden and Tomas Lemoyne from France. There's Martin in the white t-shirt. There's
Get the focus, Brad. I got goosebumps for this run. Martin Soderstrom on the left side of your screen, making it to the first jump first. 360 tail up, doing exactly what he needs to do.
He knows the combos.
Wow, Martin Soderstrom putting his bike in exactly the right place through all these berms, all these rollers. It looks like he's going to make it to the last jump, slightly in the lead. A double tail up for Martin Soderstrom.
Puts it down. Puts it down.
A backflip bar spin variation for Thomas Lemoyne. Very close. A 2.319 for Martin Soderstrom and a 2.344.
Yeah, that's like a 1/4 of a second between these guys right here. What a matchup, man. Definitely not disappointing here in the battle for the gold between these guys.
Fast run, huge tricks. This is exactly what a speed and style final should look like.
So that's Martin's adjusted game plan. Now we've seen him change that twice now. So he's keeping it going. So now it just comes down to, once again, I mean, okay, so Martin got it by the speed, but not by much. I mean, this is, I don't even know what to say
so
here.
Close.
What the heck? And now they're talking about it right now.
Vic, you're looking good. How do you feel now? I feel tired, but I want to beat you in the second run. Bring it on.
All right. Let's see. Let's take a look at the second feature here, and this is what Martin has adjusted on his plan today in the last 2 matchups.
Judges taking their time with this score for good reason. Let's take a slow-mo look. So Martin Soderstrom in the white t-shirt right now, coming into that last jump, knowing that he's been doing the double tail up on the first jump, but now that he's doing the 360 tail up on the first jump, he leaves the door open for doing that double tail up on the last jump. A backflip, double bar spin for Thomas Lemoyne. That's why the judges are taking a lot of time. It wasn't just a backflip single bar spin. It's going to be worth a lot of points. As much as a double tail, we're about to find out.
Hey, great strategy out of Lemoyne on that one too, because look, he's up and changing his plan too as well. Changing on the fly, man. When you want to win the gold medal at Crankworx, that's what you got to do. So here's number 1, 90 to 90, even.
Whoa, did he get a 360 double bar spin to X up right there? So much going on, it was almost hard to see that. That's probably why the judges are taking their time.
So we got
that first jump was a bigger combo out of Lemoyne. 90s all across the board, Brad.
So that means that Martin's going to have the lead by 0.25. So Martin with the advantage. They were just dead even on the jump lines. 90, 90, 90, 90 all the way across, and when it came down to the speed side of things now. But remember, Martin was on the faster side that we think is faster. Now they're going to switch. Thomas Lemoyne will be on that side.
The speed is there in the tricks. This is exactly what you look for in a speed and style final. 90s all across the board. I can't think of any other time we've seen that in the finals.
All right, let's check in with Tina. She's checking her heart rate down there. Tina, what's going on?
Well, yeah, I'm checking my heart rate, but the guys have had to do that all day. Remember, we've talked about how important it is to pace yourself in a race like this. And Darrell Brown even admitted that that's what got him in Leger. It was fatigue. And I just asked some of the riders, how tired are you? And I got 100% tired. And I said, well, then how have you been able to pace yourself at all through the day? And Sam Reynolds looked at me and said, I didn't even expect to get this far. And Adrian Laurent said, well, I train for things like this. But either way, guys, it's been a very tiring and exhausting day, but some great racing, and the best is yet to come.
Thank you so much, Tina. Hit that nail on the head with that one. There we go.
That is hilarious. These guys coming into this competition, same competition, but with 2 completely different focuses. Adrian Laurent going, I will be in the finals. Sam Reynolds not even expecting to find himself in the bronze medal round, but here he is.
I know, but it's only 0.14 count. Let's remember, this is almost dead even right now, because we can keep talking about that side being faster. Sam Reynolds now is on that side. Sam Reynolds versus Adrian Laurent. Adrian Laurent has the advantage. The battle of the bronze medal. Here we go. Can Sam Reynolds make up the difference?
Reynolds may not have thought he would find himself here, but look at this. If he puts it all together in this run, he could be walking away with a bronze medal. 360 one-footed X up. Precision for Sam Reynolds. A backflip for Laurent. A little bit of a slide out for Reynolds, but a great recovery.
Comes down to the final jump. Reynolds with a little bit of a lead here.
Just a little bit. He gets the hands off, and Laurent puts in a variation. Laurent with a 360 table to Sam Reynolds.
Look at the difference.
Backflip tuck no hander. Very tight timing.
0.16 the difference on time. But it comes to the tricks. I mean, is Sam Reynolds, who didn't even expect to be in this situation, going to have a bronze? Or is Adrian Laurent going to get another bronze?
It's too close to call.
Adrian Laurent got a bronze in this same event, 2016 in Rotorua. But he was the second. He improved that bronze, changed it into silver in Rotorua this year.
A lot of King of Crankworx points up for grabs in this run.
Okay.
So Laurent, straight backflip on the right side of your screen in the red jersey.
40 to 70.
And Laurent actually deciding to throw in a variation on the last jump. Look at his bike. That's called a 360 tabletop right there. It will score a little bit higher than a straight 360. He got a 45 for his efforts.
0.74. Sam Reynolds has done it. He has won the bronze medal out here today over Adrian Laurent. Wow, he wasn't even expecting to be here today, and he comes away with a bronze medal. Cam, what?
Big congratulations to Sam Reynolds. Such a skilled rider, all paying off here today.
Well, let's send it down to Tina Dixon, standing by the man, the proud owner of a bronze medal. Tina.
Yes, he is the proud owner of a bronze medal. And Sam, you just told me about 5 minutes ago, I didn't even expect to get this far. So a bronze medal, how would you sum it up?
Yeah, what a dream come true. I've had a couple years out of speed and style and just thought the other day, you know what, let's give it another go. And I'm pretty glad I did. As I said, had no expectations, and I can't believe it. Super stoked.
You know, going up against someone like Adrien Laurent, who is so experienced, how did you match up with him and how did you mentally prepare for that?
Yeah, I didn't really do anything. I just did exactly what I've been doing and kept the same tricks, tried to nail my lines, almost had a little crash, but getting wild's all part of it, and too excited right now.
This is great. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sam. Guys.
All right, thank you, Tina. Yeah, wasn't even expected to be here. Let's take another look here. Our bronze medal winner, Sam Reynolds.
He was on the edge for sure. He talked about having a little bit of a bobble. I'm not sure if we'll see it in this replay, but the 361-footed X-up, absolutely perfect extension on the foot and the X-up, but right in that right-handed slalom gate, loses traction at the rear wheel, but keeps the eyes looking forward at where he wants to be, doesn't get shaken by the loss of traction, makes it to the last jump first and gets those hands off. Bronze medal, Sam Reynolds.
Well, I like what he said, too. I mean, he knows he's going against Adrien Laurent, who trains, and I mean, he eats speed and style courses for breakfast. And then you got this man right here coming in, talking to him out in Leger. He was like, maybe I'll give it a go next week. Yeah, you'll give it a go all the way to the bronze medal is what he did right there. Sam Reynolds, well, the bronze medal's going to be his. Adrien Laurent will stay in fourth. And then we go back to Martin Soderstrom and Thomas Lemoyne. Let's take a look at run one with the matchup between these guys to see where we are now, Cam.
Sounds good. I could watch this run all day long. Good starts for both riders. Maybe a little bit of a jump for Lemoyne, a little bit of a benefit out of the gate, but a 360 double bar spin to X up was really what had the judges spend a little bit more time on that score. He was not doing that in any of the preliminary rounds. The straight 360 double bar spin's been scoring well, and the fact that he can put more into it's impressive. A backflip double bar spin for Lemoyne against that double tail up of Martin Soderstrom. Basically, one of the heaviest speed and style finals we've ever seen.
Indeed, and you know what? You owe that to the Crankworx format change in speed and style. That's got it to where it is now here in your Mons Royale. Dual speed in style here. Our first broadcast here on stop number 3 of Crankworx World Tour here in Innsbruck, Austria. We're down to the final. 0.25 is the lead that Martin has over Thomas Lemoyne. We talk about the side that Lemoyne's on. It seems to be a little bit faster. Both these guys have adjusted their game, and here we go.
Both of them rearing at the gate. Neck and neck into the first jump. Can Lemoyne get that combo? 360 double bar spin to X up against the 3-whip of Martin Soderstrom. Both of the riders getting their tricks. Great speed through the gates.
Martin's got to keep it close here. He's got to stay with him.
Nobody has any room for error here. A backflip double bar spin out of Lemoyne. A double tail up for Martin Soderstrom.
Puts it
Lemoyne
down.
through the finish line first.
44-16, 45-19. That's one full second difference that Lemoyne had over Martin. Now it'll go down to the tricks, but is this going to be enough to make up the difference that Martin had over Thomas Lemoyne in the first matchup, Cam?
When the level of perfection has been established the way it's been established today against these two riders, you have no room for error. Martin Soderstrom not getting his feet perfectly on the pedals on the double tail up, that may hurt him.
And that, like you said, that could hurt you right there because that hurts you on your overall time. And you're still trying to keep it close. Now there's a full second difference between the two riders. So now it just comes down to the replays of the jumps, and it's all in the judges' hands at this point. But I think the jumps are going to be so close as far as score-wise. All right, before we get the score down there, I think let's just check in with Tina Dixon right now and what's going on down there. What's the pulse down there like, Tina?
Well, these guys are talking between each other as we wait for scores. Okay, so do you think you won, Martin?
I really, really hope so, but if I didn't win, then this guy truly deserved it. Yeah.
Okay, and your thoughts? How did you feel that you did on that run?
I tried to go as fast as I could. I have some advance for the speed, but I'm not sure about the tricks because he did good tricks, so let's wait and hope I win.
Yeah, we're waiting, guys. He had the speed, he had the tricks. It's close to call.
Well, let's take a look here. Okay, here's the first jump, Cam.
It was a 360 double tail out of Martin Soderstrom.
100!
There was so much going on there. It was hard to tell until we broke it down to slow motion. A 360 with 2 tail-ups. How in the world did he push his cables to the limit?
But the 85, though, that could hurt him right there. A 96 and a 90. Here we go. Does Thomas Lemoyne grab the gold? Does Martin Soderstrom grab the gold? Coming in, the gold medal goes to Thomas Lemoyne, takes the gold, and Martin Soderstrom will take the silver out here today. It came down to it. You can't script it better in a Hollywood movie than that one. All right, let's check in with Tina down there with our gold medal winner, Thomas Lemoyne. Tina.
Well, yes, I am back now that it's been officially named that you are the winner. Just what does this mean to win an event like this?
I'm pretty stoked. That's my first ever win on speed and style, and I couldn't do some speed and style contest this year because of bike's problem and then wrist. So I'm stoked to be back, and I won, so I'm even more stoked.
To go up against someone like Martin at the very end in the finals, I mean, he was cheering you on just as much.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, Martin is pretty fast and has good tricks, so I guess the format of speed and style works good now. And I'm stoked to win against this guy because he's like so good on the bike, so that's like a good victory for me.
What a great day of racing. Congratulations. Your Mons Royale dual speed and style winner is Thomas Lemoyne.
Thank you, Tina, and congratulations to all of our medalists. Thomas Lemoyne with that gold, Martin Soderstrom with the silver, Sam Reynolds with the bronze. Cam, what did you think about what we saw here today, sir?
That final, there was absolutely nothing being held back. Both riders pushing their tires to the limit, also doing tricks that we did not expect. Martin Soderstrom squeezing an extra tail up in on that 360 double whip, doing everything he could, but he was just too far behind Thomas Lemoyne. Lemoyne, big congrats to him for taking the win.
Yeah, Martin was throwing everything at him except the kitchen sink on that one, but maybe we'll see that in Whistler. But what an amazing turnout. What an amazing first broadcast. I don't think it can get better than that one, but we will do our best to get better than that one because we got another one coming up for you tomorrow. Please join us for your Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox. That is going off the hinge tomorrow. It's your Riverson Club Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox. There is your times for that, 11 a.m. on the West Coast. But if it's anything like what we saw today, we're in for a doozy tomorrow.
We're just getting started. This whole week is going to be action-packed, full of events. Sunday, slope style. We're just getting ramped up, aren't we, Brad?
Yes, we are. All right, let's take a look at our Dual Speed and Style Series Championship because, you know, it is... We're talking 4 stops. Jakob Wenzel was perfect on the first 2, but now that he got moved out of there, what does that mean? Let's take a look at our standings right now with Martin getting that 3rd spot in Leger last week, but Martin coming out here today and grabbing the silver medal. So he's moving up. Maybe he goes for the gold, and maybe he makes that happen in Whistler. But remember, it's part of the whole series championship as well for your speed and style. And we'll check the standings on that to see how it's looking. But there's your medalists. And there's just an amazing day out here all the way through. Got threatened by a little bit of rain, but that stuff backed off, and the competition did not disappoint. Jakob Wenzel, perfect the first 2. And now Thomas Lemoyne, a guy who does quite well in the pump track. Has got just as many podiums in pump track that Mitch Ropolato does. So we'll see what he has in store for us tomorrow when that competition goes at it. All right, well, I mean, final thoughts on everything we just saw here today, Cam.
Well, a final where...
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I can't get over that final between Lemoyne and Soderstrom. The fact that in run 1, they both had 90s and fast-paced runs. And then a 100 in the final run. We saw 100s twice today, one time out of Louis Rabot. So the level has been risen in speed and style. Whistler's going to be crazy.
Oh, that's a sad thing that we have to wait all the way then to see another dual speed and style. Well, that will take place in Whistler. Make sure you make your plans out there. Also, sign up for your VIP packages. Do that, Crankworx.com. You can do that as well and get out there, do it before July 1st. You can save some money and be front row, front center out there in Crankworx in Whistler. Well, another awesome day here, another great competition all the way down to it. That'll do it. Congratulations to your bronze medal winner, Sam Reynolds from Great Britain. Martin Soderstrom taking that silver medal in that 2nd spot, and Thomas Lemoyne from France, his first ever dual speed and style win. An amazing day on behalf of our entire Crankworx crew out here. Join us tomorrow for Pump Track because we're going to get that thing going. On behalf of Tina Dixon, Cam McCall, I'm Brad J. And a very goodbye from Innsbruck, Austria. See ya.